Nosotros trabajamos duro.
That is a good jam, man.
Oh, yeah.
It almost has like a Tom Petty feel to it.
Oh, Neil Young, Tom Petty, yeah.
Down a little, let's go to die. Ain't no lows here, nothing but goodbye. It's like singing a song.
Rocci Twitchell, right?
Yep, Rocci Twitchell.
It's like here's second turn.
It's like having the rain down, but yet you hear me come. Lord, hey, now, where I can't tell, I just can't tell. Hey, now, I know somewhere between heaven and hell.
Oye, bienvenidos, nosotros trabajamos duro. Oye, so eres aquí con Rocci Twitchell. And in English, you know what that means? You are here with Rocci Twitchell. Nosotros trabajamos duro because we all work hard. But when we're here, we're just chilling and kicking back. But real quick, we was listening to Zach Wild. Let's get into that real quick. Man, how'd you get to know Zach Wild, dude?
Oh, Zach. So, been a big fan of his since Pride and Glory. And I just started going to all his shows when he turned over to be Black Label Society. I started going to all his shows.
Mm-hmm.
And then, it's like you become a groupie. You get his jacket. You get all the rings and stuff like that. And got to see him play in Reno and Sacramento a bunch of times. But then finally, they started doing the backstage, we can meet him backstage stuff.
Okay.
So I got to go, I paid a ticket one day to go meet him backstage, and it was funny. My best friend and I walk up, we're total fans of Zach's, right? And I walk up and you get to go to the backstage and hang out and take pictures and chat and have him sign stuff. And my turn to walk up, and I walk up and I stick out my hand, and he goes, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. And I was just like, oh no. And he's all, no, everyone stop. And then he got real quiet, and he goes, when we meet together here like this, there's no handshaking. I'm just like, I'm this tall, right? Because I'm with Zach Wild. I'm all, I'm shrinking. I'm all, oh no. And he's all, we don't shake hands here when we're family. When we're family, we hug.
Yeah.
And he goes, so he pushed me back and goes, now remember that. Whenever you see me again, you know, shaking hands stuff, you come up and give me a hug. He goes, you're family now.
Oh, that's tight, man.
Whoa. And so then from that point on, it just, I go to every single show I can go to that's within, good travel distance.
Yeah.
Just show up, the tour manager, everyone just starts going, hey, there's Rocky. And then next thing you know, he's all, dude, I hear you teach martial arts. And I go, yeah. And he goes, let's chat. So every time I go to a show, we either chat about, one, we were talking about how he was going to play for Pantera. He goes, I don't think anyone's going to really like it that I go up there and take Dimebag's spot. And I don't think it's going to go over well. And I go, no, you'll be surprised. You watch. I'm looking forward to it. A million people are looking forward to it. And then he's doing real well. He likes it. But he goes, but going back, he's all, hey, so here you're teaching martial arts. Who's better, Chuck Norris or Bruce Lee? So, we do the little back forth and stuff. And now he's all, you know what I'm going to call you? I'm going to call you the JKD man. So everybody see you. You're the JKD man. So every time I go to a show, I just go backstage or shows. But hey, somebody, go tell Zach I'm here. And then he'll go call me back. Hey, Rocky, come on back.
No, that's really tight.
And then I did my cookbook. I gave him a cookbook, and then a buddy of mine bought a guitar off him, and he had me go pick it up, right?
Oh, okay.
So I got to go backstage and hang out with him while he picked up my buddy's guitar. And
so
Zach was just like
the
totally coolest guy you could ever possibly meet, rock star. And
oh yeah, for real. But it's cool that he is humble like that. But it's funny that you say that about Dimebag. It's just like you took over for Randy Rhoads. You know what I mean? Randy Rhoads, I feel. And he did a good job doing it, too. I was listening to Rudy Sarzo talk about something, and he said they were auditioning some people, but they were like, what was cool about Zach was because Zach Wild was a fan of Randy, so he wasn't really emulating his style, but he was really inspired by it, so he could do it, but with his own, style to the player, And I thought, that's really cool, but I like listening to musicians, and I don't know, people in the different, arts and stuff like that talk about it. It's like where I'm into comedy and all that, it's cool to listen to people talk about comedy. Where I like music too, and then karate, I'm interested in martial arts. I don't really do it or anything, but it's still interesting to me. I do want to get in jiu-jitsu and then Krav Maga at some point, just because it's on my mom's side. I'm Jewish.
Yeah.
So it's like I feel like I should know
Okay.
Krav Maga.
Yeah, Israeli.
Yeah. Oh, you are?
Well, no, I'm saying the Krav Maga is
It's
Israeli,
Israeli.
so that's
Yeah,
that would be your connection.
Right. I was gonna say, I didn't realize that too, but no, that's cool. But I feel like that's something that I should know. But they say Krav Maga is not really a martial arts. More like that's just like a military training to take you down.
It is. That's actually a military. It's so when you lose your weapon, you know you can be able to fight your way out of any situation if you don't have your weapon, pistol or rifle.
Right.
That's Krav Maga.
Yeah.
But you'd be interested in JKD. So Jeet Kune Do fills that gap. And JKD and Krav Maga are just like that.
Okay.
Because it's you're developing ranges. So JKD would be good for you too because it would be just the same thing. It would just Krav Maga and JKD both are like they coexist.
Yeah. No, I think that's like because you're talking about like Jeet Kune Do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that was kind of just in the case the audience didn't get like JKD, but yeah, Bruce Lee's philosophy, and I like when Joe Rogan talks about it because I feel like that is like the most prolific way I think to do it is like you take the best from each martial art and you combine it.
True, and then you take which each person. Some people are super tall, some are a little shorter, so and some are really good at grappling, and some are good at kicking. So you try to work on all the areas you're weak, keep the areas that you're strong, but also work on the areas that you're weak. And the JKD fills that same gap too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Or Bruce Lee's mindset usually fits that.
Yeah, be like water.
That's right. Be like water.
Yeah.
And then like an empty teacup, to also be ready for information. Be able to empty your cup and then fill it and then empty it whenever you need to. Right. And they say JKD is like a boat that gets you across the river. So everyone's like, well, I used boxing for all these my life. Well, if you learn a bit of JKD, the JKD might get you that. Hey, I got in a boat and made it across the river. Oh, what got that? The JKD principles got me to the other side.
Right. Oh, that's tight. Like, and when you say JKD principles, like, what do you necessarily mean by that?
So, JKD was developed by Bruce Lee, of course. So, my instructor is Guru Dan Inosanto. Guru Dan Inosanto was one of Bruce Lee's top instructors. And so, that knowledge has been passed down to me. But the principles or the techniques, you think about 4 ranges of combat. You think of kicking, punching, trapping, and grappling.
Oh, wow.
And what fills in between. What if you had a gun? What if you had a knife? What if you had just threw you to the ground and grappled? In JKD, you can pretty much say that I can cover all 4 of those areas. If someone were to attack me, get me on the ground, I know how to fight off the ground. If someone were attacking me with a knife, I have some knowledge and some basics to be able to not get cut too bad.
Yeah.
Because everyone's all, in a knife fight, my big misconception is when I teach knife fighting or knife training, they call it knife fighting, it's a whole different, people don't live very much.
Yeah, it sounds like Rebel Without a Cause,
Yeah.
Yeah,
but when you think about someone pulls a knife on you, you're like, oh, how am I going to survive this and not get cut? That's the point. Everyone thinks, in the movies, I'm going to disarm him and it's all going to get really, super, super easy. No, man, when 2 people draw a knife or even one person draws a knife and you get involved, someone's getting cut.
Yeah.
You just got to be really careful. But with JKD, you can pretty much not guarantee, but go, hey, I have some kind of knowledge about some knife basics.
Yeah.
I'll know how to advert, not get hit in vital areas and be able to survive this. I might get cut a little bit, take the knife away, maybe.
Right, yeah, just somehow deflect or get the knife out of their hands.
Or just know that he's trying to cut me right here and I know how to block that so I don't get cut there. Because if I get cut here, game over. Or I get cut under here, I'm going to,
bleed out,
oh my gosh, where am I going to get cut? But
Right.
I'm going to be able to survive. Because most of you, likely, one of you is going to the hospital or even both of you. And I didn't get cut bad. So I can just get it stitched up. But.
Right, and it sucks too getting cut because a knife could be dirty. You never know. I feel like blades are like the worst thing to probably get.
I cut my finger in half one time.
Yeah.
It's like right in here. It wasn't with a knife. It was with an electric hedge trimmer that didn't have a guard on it, and my hand slipped off and got cut in half. Just that little small cut, I thought I was going to die. Right, so you can imagine if someone gets a big knife and cuts you from your elbow down to your wrist.
Yeah.
That's you pass out or
Right.
It's pretty scary. So.
Yeah, because I feel, from what I've heard, and again, I've never been personally trained or whatever, but just basically what I've heard from people is you don't want to try and stab, you kind of just want to slice. Because slicing is easier than a Scottish cat that I work with, or I can't remember if it was him or what I read in Keith Richards' book, but one of them was if you do have a knife and like whatever, just cut someone across the forehead because the blood people usually just freak out from the blood and like just because the forehead bleeds a lot, so blood goes in the eyes, and it's like that's actually pretty good because you don't have to give that big of a wound, and then they freak out, and that gives you just get out of there.
By the way, when you get cut across here, it does the blood's closer, and it does just seems like more damage. So yeah, it'd be good. That's if you get cut there, that's a lot of blood, but it's not as scary as cutting internal organs. Or
hell no.
Tendons and tissues, right?
Right. I just think it's like that. It's almost a scare thing. Is as soon as someone gets cut and there's blood in your eyes, your natural thing's gonna freak out.
Or they get madder.
Yeah, who knows? I mean,
I
feel like if you do that to Chuck Liddell, he's just gonna attack you. He's just gonna grab you down the ground. He's gonna be like, "Oh, well."
Yeah, good old Chuck. I got to meet Chuck.
Oh, cool.
Liddell once.
Like, how long ago was that?
Back in Hollywood.
Oh,
so
okay.
I got inducted in the Martial Arts Hall of Fame, and Chuck Liddell and I were both inducted the same night. First guy I took a picture with, Chuck Liddell. Me and Chuck Liddell. Good guy, man. Really nice guy.
Yeah, he seems like a good cat too, but just one of those just don't piss him off.
Don't make him mad. And you'd be surprised. You think, oh man, he's a great grappler. He's actually a better kicker. Guy can kick. Guy can kick.
He just preferred grappling, I guess, or.
Well, I think like all of us, we all are involved in martial arts, and then we all have our strengths and weaknesses and everything. I think a lot of people assume that he's a really good grappler, which he is. Yeah. And a puncher, but you'd be surprised. Like, man, he knows some kicks. He can kick.
I'll have to watch some of his old fights then, because again, I used to watch him like in 2005, 2009ish area when he was going strong at that time.
There's some footage of him training with some military guys, and he just throws some kicks on these guys and just sends them 10 feet. Oh, yeah, he's pretty good. So. Oh yeah. And the kicking, I mean, he's excellent areas everywhere else, but man, you're just surprised. Man, that guy can grapple, he can punch, but man, he can really kick.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, talking about kicking, I'm still a Conor McGregor fan and all of that. Yeah. But I'm kind of curious on your thoughts on him. I always like Conor and all that, but what do you think? Do you think he's okay to come back now, or I think he's getting a little too older. He's still a badass, but I feel like
the interesting thing about that is, so I boxed for a long time, and when you try to retire and quit, it's hard because you like the fighting, you like that adrenaline rush, you like that. It's hard, and the older you get, the less your reflexes are. But in your mind, what's amazing about the body is your body starts to deteriorate, but your mind usually stays like, I still feel 25. I know I can do it.
Yeah, the mind will be strong for a really good minute, if not getting like more superior, while the body could be getting weaker. And
that's where these guys get. I mean, I've been there. I'm older now, and I'm like, man, I still got the fire. I'm just not in good condition. I'm slower. I'm older. So, but in Conor's mind, he's a big draw for him is, he's going to make a good payday, and then some good money. So. And
he knows how to promote that thing just by talking all the shit that he does.
And that's the thing. That these guys all talk smack because then it's like, better ticket sales, more money in my pocket because I'm gonna talk smack. And then of course he's always humble, like, hey man, the guy beat me. That's how it goes. But for him, it's a lot of not necessarily like a greedy pride. It's more like a pride, like, hey man, look, the fight in me. I'm not.
If that's Irish, I think that's just like a not natural Irish pride, or whatever, to be honest with you. I mean, or like, Brian, like you said, like any kind of fighter's pride, it's like, I'm not done yet until like, probably like any kind of fighter until you put the knife
these old
in
fighters, man, they just get their head and they're like, hey man, I'm still 25. I'm 60. I'm still 25. And then.
And I'm pretty sure they could knock out like a hell of a lot of people and everything. It's just just kind of like I was saying, I feel like it's where he's just kind of a little bit banged up, but I feel like he still wants to make a comeback and everything in the ring.
I mean, in a small way, so much money involved, go ahead. And then another small way, it's kind of like, you better be careful, you're getting older and maybe you shouldn't. Yeah. But money talks.
Right. No, for sure. Like, talking about Conor McGregor, though, I think I like Khabib, and because he didn't lose to anybody.
For the longest time, he didn't.
I thought he was 50-0 or something like that, or 53-0.
I don't recall that kind of record, but
really, maybe I'm the one making a mistake. I thought for sure he went undefeated because I was like, he's my favorite fighter.
He had a few defeats in there.
Because he was just strong, and I actually liked him when he was beaten. Like Conor was just like, it's just business, and he was like, it was never business to me, dude. And he was like, because he comes from where, Ukraine, part of Russia, somewhere.
I can't remember.
It's the Eastern Europe. I know that part. But he's another honorable cat too. His dad, I think, got sick, and he was like, I'm not fighting anymore. I'm gonna go take care of my family now. Yeah. Anyway, so that to me is like honorable kind of shit. But I don't know. I like it. Khabib was a cool cat.
Yeah. When he fought Gregor, you know, you one person's the heavy side on a lot of, you know, ego, and another person's on the other side, the humble part.
Right.
That's what they're trying to do. One's the good guy, one's the bad guy. I mean, I understand it. Like Muhammad Ali, right?
Yeah, and kind of like how they did it.
He
in
talked
wrestling.
smack because it was all about the money.
Right.
The more smack you talk, the more people are going to show up. Oh yeah, I want to see the guy get beat. And then Muhammad Ali wasn't getting beat a lot, right? So then it's like even pumps up the ticket sales even more because it's like, guy's got a big mouth. Well, because you know
he can back it up though too.
That's
when
right.
you watch him slip, it's like I don't know how you could not be on Muhammad Ali's
big,
side.
tall, strong, can move really quick. And you know who's next? Like Tyson, remember? He started out, he just started demolishing everybody, and then suddenly everyone started catching back up. And going, hey, I know how to beat him now. Watching fight tapes, then Holyfield comes along and beats him. You know?
Yeah. And then Mike's an interesting one too, just because he was a small guy, but he would just because they say with the little dudes like they have to just get it close, and he would just come in with that power. And just, but like everyone, or most people know, like Customato and all that was a big influence on him, training him.
Yep, Customato took him for the longest time. Then when Cuss passed away, Don King took over and kind of ruined.
Well, Don King kind of, I feel, was like a cartel in the boxing.
Well, of course.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Don King showed up, had all that flair, and then it was just like, oh man, that's kind of like the downside of it. And it's just the downside of boxing, the Don King era. You definitely got the show and all that though from it too, but I just feel like everyone kind of got probably screwed.
When I first started boxing, my coach goes, "Don't you ever," because we kind of went around southern Utah, Las Vegas area doing lots of fights.
Okay.
And my coach would always go, "Don't you dare ever get roped in by Don King. Don't you ever." I'm all, "Why not?" He's all, "Well, just don't get roped in by him. Because then it becomes money, and then you might get ruined." You know, I'm all, "All right, I won't." I never got that far in here, but although I trained with local guys in town, I trained a bunch of local guys.
Gotcha. I was gonna say you probably know Tony Lopez.
Yeah, I got to train with Tony Lopez when he was in Sac Pal.
Oh, okay.
I just trained alongside him. I never sparred him or anything like that, but I got to train alongside him, do jump rope, and train along with him.
That's tight. Yeah, he does a lot still.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I like Tony Lopez.
Yeah,
I used to remember when I had a Sac Pal when he was a world champ. I saw a couple of his fights. I saw him when he fought Jorge Paez, and good guy. And then I was a sparring partner for Diego Corrales.
Oh, shit, really?
Diego Corrales was a local champ. I was a sparring partner for him. So, but yeah.
Yeah, that's tight. Like who else like locally have you kind of been a sparring partner with or trained? Like
well, back in the day, I was a sparring partner for Mark Lewis. He was on the Olympic boxing team, and then I was a sparring partner for Loreto Garza out of Woodland.
I'm not familiar with him. I don't think.
Yeah, and then Richard Duran, I was a sparring partner for him. There was a couple other guys in there, but my main guy I worked with the most was Diego Corrales. I was his sparring partner. But I got to work with a bunch of really cool guys here out of Sacramento.
Oh yeah, that's tight.
Tony Lopez, he would come to the gym and we'd jump rope together or shadow box together. I never really got to spar Tony Lopez, but
yeah, like he was on the podcast a while back.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay, cool. I'm not sure if you saw that or not, but yeah, I liked a lot of his stories on there. That was really cool.
Yeah, Tony Lopez is a good guy, man. He's a good local. He's a classy, good guy.
Yeah, he's really cool. Oh, another cat that I was gonna say, since you know martial arts, do you know John Koyosako around town? He does a little bit of acting, and he's done.
I don't. I've never met him.
Really? Okay, because he does a bit of acting, and his background is in what's the Korean martial art with the kicking?
Hapkido or Tang Sudo?
No, what's the one with all the kicking? Taekwondo.
Oh, Taekwondo.
That's the one I was thinking.
Yeah, I don't know who he is.
Yeah, his background's in that, but he's done some training in, like he'll do a little bit of acting and stuff, but he'll do choreography training sometimes with certain actors and stuff like that. He said I can't remember if he worked with Chuck Norris or like someone like that. John
Taekwondo.
Van Damme, like someone like that a while back in like the 80s or 90s, something like that. But anyway, he still does a little bit of stuff. So I don't know. I didn't know if he was like one of them that you could have known.
I'm going to look him up now for sure though.
Hell yeah. But that's another thing too though. You've done like some background in training actors and stuff like that as well, choreography.
Yeah, actually I did a fight choreography. One of my students and I did the fight choreography for a couple movies here in town, but they never made it to final print. And it was really cool because the fight scenes we did after we got done that night, we filmed late at night. Everyone was like, "Man, you guys must be all like bruised up and sore," because it looked real.
Yeah.
Like my student and I made it look so real, but it was actually, we were taking fake blows and stuff.
Yeah,
and
no, that's
rolls
doing your
and stuff.
job, right?
And it was really cool. But no, we're fine. They're like, wow, he's like, it looks real. I'm like, I wish that footage would have been released, but the movie never got released. There was a fight between the producer and somebody else spent the money they weren't supposed to, and it all fell apart.
I think it's a miracle any kind of movie gets made, really. Even like the one that was really good, Killers of the Flower Moon, I don't know if it was just taking them a minute to edit it or what, but it was in like production hell. So it's like me, I love making films and everything, but it can just really be a bitch sometimes. Like,
I did a small one on YouTube called The 4 Elements of Boom. It's like a old 1970s hip hop music and old 1970s kung fu theater. So it's called The 4 Elements of Boom. It's just the one where you go and like, I'm gonna fight you and I will kill you tomorrow.
Okay.
You know? It was pretty cool. We did that one. That was fun.
That's funny.
That took 3 months to make, and it was fun. We did it every weekend, but it was fun. It was just it's fake fighting, of course, but it looks pretty cool.
No, it's fun. It's funny about that too. Like, I usually never answer how today's the day you did come over, because earlier when I was making dinner, I got a call and I picked it up, and it was an independent film that they're doing here called Fight for Your Life, and they actually cast me as like one of the extras in there that's supposed to guard somebody.
Oh, very cool.
Or whatever. So we'll shoot over the weekend. I was like, oh, that's interesting. I got Rocci coming over who teaches martial arts, and I actually got cast in this one film. But have you heard anything about that?
No, I have not.
Okay,
First
cool.
I heard about that. If they need an extra, call me up.
Yeah, right. I will for sure. But hey, I know someone you might need.
I know a guy who's a bouncer and he's a martial artist. He'll stand around and look stupid.
Right. No, sometimes that's like that could be some of the best days. Like one night, it was like, all right, cool. Just if you're there with cool people and you're just like,
oh yeah,
yeah, you're just
it's
like
all about
standing
connection.
around chilling. Yeah.
Definitely about the connection.
No, for sure. Like, but yeah, that's one thing that's cool. I don't know. I enjoy being on a film set. I don't know, anyone that gets in acting or behind the camera, so you have to just enjoy being on the set, because a lot of times you're just waiting around.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes it's just like 10 hours, but if you're with like a crew, then it's like, it's almost a small like military operation.
Right.
Everyone just gets along, they know their part, and then...
Some of my instructors have been in movies, martial arts movies, and they said some of the hardest part is just standing around and waiting for things to happen, or being called to do something and then come back later, and a lot of hours.
Yeah. There's a lot that can go into it. Like, that's it too. I saw something that, like, either, I don't know if you had posted it or someone was trying to get you into the Yellowstone, right? The Yellowstone?
I don't know if I would love to be in Yellowstone.
Yeah, okay.
There was a couple people I know that are in Yellowstone. Did some, I think they got some, walk by scenes type stuff, but I'm like, I would love to be in Yellowstone.
Gotcha.
Some ride up on a horse,
right.
Have a couple lines and call it good.
Just ride off in the sunset.
Yeah, I would love that.
No, I saw something like posted, so I was like, I don't know if I didn't know if they were like really trying to like petition to get you in the thing or like what, but I was like, that'd be cool. Yellowstone's one, I've watched some episodes and they look cool, I just haven't watched it all the way yet, but I've watched all the prequel ones. 1923 is good.
Yep.
1883 I like. But I don't know, maybe I just like those because they're set in older times and everything.
Yeah, I like those too because they go back when it's just, they're riding the buggies and the wagons, and then the older ones they're driving cars,
Right. Like that's what I think is really interesting about that time in America too, and it's really weird because in New York in like 1890 something, almost even 1870, it would look like it's early 1900s almost, minus like cars coming around. But then you get to early 1900s and everything, and New York kind of shoots up. But in the farther west you go. It's still 1860 in some places, or 1870. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just strange how it's like it was almost a modern time, but you still had the Wild West. Even in what is it, Killers of the Flower Moon? It's pretty much like that. It's like the Wild West in modern states. But
yeah, good stuff, man. I love anything Western, like Bonanza.
Oh yeah.
I love Bonanza. Anything Western, cowboy. I love all that stuff. Because I grew up on a ranch. Grew up on a small ranch. So that's just, like now I'm an urban cowboy, which is unfortunate. But I love going back and hanging out with the horses and going on trail rides. And
now a ranch here in California or somewhere else?
Yeah, it was up in Clio, California.
Okay.
So Clio is like Quincy. There's Reno. There's Quincy. And there's Portola.
Yeah. All right.
Kind of up in the northern mountains there. So if you go to Truckee, you go about 60 miles northeast, northwest. you'll run into a small little railroad town called Portola. That's where I grew up. It was just a small little railroad town, and I went to school there, graduating class of 50.
Oh wow, okay, that's like I'm from West Virginia, and that's I think a smaller graduating class than we had. We had like 100 something
Oh,
or
man.
200 maybe. I don't know.
I hear people here like in Sacramento, oh, my class was, graduating class of 300. You're like, 300?
Yeah.
Mine was 50. It's just a small little town, and I took care of horses, and we had chickens and goats and all that stuff. And then my stepfather worked as a ranch hand on the summer on a guest ranch. And so we'd go there and get to ride horses and all that stuff. So I had my own horse. I rode horses for about 6-7 years. And then when I graduated, I gave it all up. Went to live the big city, live the big dream, live in the big city. Should have stayed.
Yeah.
Should have stayed there.
No, I get it. Like, it's kind of like, again, like leaving West Virginia and everything. It's still like the big city. I'm like, I still like it out here a little bit more, but it's what I like to do, I can actually do,
That's just come a long ways.
Yeah. But like I said, there's nothing. It's probably close to like your small town in a sense. There's there's like coal miners there. Like there's like still like rail and all this stuff that goes on. But yeah, it's like I don't know if you want to like act and like do comedy and stuff.
Yeah, you
like,
gotta be here.
You gotta be in a city or some near metropolis that you can go to.
You got to make that connection. You can't make it in a small town.
Yeah. But like you said, I think when you get a little bit older, it's like, it might be kind of nice to go back to it. But I'm not like that like now. It's like sometimes it's just nice to just go where there's like no one around. It's like, you get away from it.
Yeah.
But if I'm there for too long, then it's like, all right, I got to go back and do something. But it's just finding that balance for me.
Yeah, very true. It's all about balance.
Yeah, for sure.
All about balance.
Now, do you go back and like ride the horses anywhere else you stay? Or?
Well, yeah. So there's actually a place up there, Gold Lake Stables.
Mm-hmm.
They have you can go up there and ride horses and go on trail rides. I go there about once a year.
Yeah.
Go ride horses. I used to work at Gibson Ranch here in town, but Gibson Ranch just shut down. They had some things come up, so they pretty much shut it down. And I was a ranch hand there for a while, and that was nice because every Friday I'd just go to the ranch and hang out. I fed the horses every Friday, and if they needed me for something, fixing the fence during the week, they'd call me after an emergency or something. We had that big windstorm a couple years ago.
Yeah.
It just blew everything around. It took up stables over there and everything. We spent probably 3 or 4 months replacing stables and fences.
Oh, wow.
So that was fun. So that was where I was hanging out for a while, but Gibson Ranch shut down. So now it's all got to go back to the mountains.
Yeah. It's
Go travel far away to ride horses.
A good drive. Like, there's some places, I mean, what is it? Rio Linda, they have a good amount of ranches out that way.
There's some ranches out there.
Mm-hmm. And then I know there's because again, like when I was putting up the fences and everything, we went out to one, like little rodeo place. It was like, it's in I don't know, it's like on the way towards San Francisco, I guess like whatever that interstate is, 80 maybe?
Yeah.
But it's like if you're driving around, you see like the hills and everything. If you actually like look down, you can see.
Oh, yeah.
You can see like the barn and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, man, I wouldn't want to be here. Someone could just fly over this thing one day.
Yeah.
And have a car down there. But no, we went down there and did that. But it was a ranch. They had some bulls and horses and everything. And I guess they have rodeos.
Yeah.
No, I don't know how big of rodeos I don't know. It's just someone's like ranch or whatever. Some people were working on. Probably just a big family that owned it. So.
Yeah. Every year, every summer, in some place like that, they're having a rodeo.
Yeah. When I moved out here and was doing like this like train acting thing, like pretending like to be like bandits or whatever. It wasn't as good.
They all dressed up in the Western gear.
Yeah, it was dressed up in that, but it wasn't as good as it sounded. It was kind of like you would act out the thing like in each cart, and then you'd act it out back. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like Act 1, you go this way, and then Act 2, you go back. You know what I mean? You go back in reverse, and then sometimes you have like you pull a gun or you wait till the end. But after a minute, I'm like, this is not that good. It's not as fun as like some of them should be, where it's like, okay, we need to have them like go to a town, and then like, okay, now the bandits, if you can't ride a horse or something, like have them stop in a town. Now the bandits show up with the blanks, and now you have the shootout.
Oh, okay.
I feel like they should have done that instead of like, we're gonna have a show going up on. But anyway,
like you're visiting Tombstone or something, huh?
Yeah. Because I've seen different ways that people, directors and stuff, have like shot like westerns or because it's almost like a dinner theater because it's a live audience performance where like the train actually goes through, so people are paying attention to like the environment, but you're also getting a show going on. And I'm like, what they should do is probably have the train stop somewhere, people go and do whatever, and then you have the show take place in this like small town.
Yeah.
Instead of doing it on the train. But Anyway, I'm trying to think where I was going with that. It's all, oh yeah. No, when I like first moved out here, that was one of the jobs that I had, was doing the acting on that, but it just didn't, like I said, I just had to go to something else. So it wasn't like thinking of like riding up and doing that kind of shooting. That's what I was like thinking it might been like whenever I got it, was like kind of like the idea I told you, and I was like, man, this is not that good the way they have this set up.
Yeah.
So, shoot, yeah, I was trying to think of what I was going to like say with that one. I thought I had like another thought, but anyway, it doesn't matter. If it come back to me, it'll come back. So again, like we were talking, or we're just going to jump into this one, I guess, just segue from that. But again, so you ended up having one of the hijackers from 9/11.
Yep. So
taken with you for
years and years ago, I was looking for ways to make some money, and one of the ways to make money was a program called Kaplan, and it was you would host a foreign exchange student at your home. Mm-hmm. And what a great opportunity for my kids to not end up being racist, like not like because of their color, their skin, or their cultures, right? So a perfect opportunity to have all these really cool people from all of these countries come. So I had a girl from Korea, I had a girl from Indonesia, I had some guys from Brazil who did jiu-jitsu at a school I used to teach out in Elk Grove. So I had all these really great people, and they were all great people. But we had one guy who was from Saudi Arabia, and we didn't get along with him very well. And then I ended up asking him to leave my house because he was just doing some things that I didn't like. And then come to find out, he was the first guy to go in one of the Twin Towers back in 9/11.
Jeez.
And I'm like, whoa, right? So then, of course, they were asking people information, and we gave the information.
Right. If you don't mind, like, so whenever, like, so you know, 9/11, we're all where we're at, like, so we see it, so you see it go in, and because how soon was it after it hits that the names came out that people could,
I think
that they knew who was on there?
For us, it was a couple days, because they're like, there's some people we can't identify. Anyways, any information on this guy, let us know. And then my ex-wife's like, hey, that guy lived in our house. If that's who we...
Yeah, like, were you like thinking, well, could it have been someone else that just has the same name? Like,
yeah, I was like, because just like, I wonder if it really was. And so then when the FBI, the CIA, and the INS showed up at my house, they laid all the stuff out and identify this guy. Where is he at? And I got, and our driver's license are real super small, but in their country they're really big, right?
Oh wow!
So,
okay.
there he is, right there, and they're all, how do you know that's him? I go, that's the guy that lived with me for all those, those months. He lived with me for like 3 months. I'm all, that's him right there, and like, well, what is this bag right here? What's Kaplan? And because it had been gone, the source with the school was gone, right?
Okay, yeah.
And I go, oh, Kaplan was a place where it was a language cultural program. So they were coming to University of Sacramento and they were learning the language, and then you're involvement in your family, and you get to know them and eating the food and stuff like that. Of course, he wasn't here for that purpose, right?
Yeah.
But that was the way you're supposed to get involved, and he just didn't want to. He didn't want to work with me, my wife, or me in any way, form, shape, or form. And so I told him, you got to get this guy out of my house.
Like, whenever he was like in, did he do anything that was kind of like, I don't know, like shady in a sense, or was he just like did he like leave at like weird time? Like,
no, he seemed really like, he didn't seem like he really wanted to be here. He seemed like he was just very angry. And just like, I'm like, now I was trying to explain to him like how we eat our food, and he's all, here's how we eat our food, and I tried to accommodate him, right?
Yeah.
For his culture.
Yeah, you want to be respectful.
I tried to, but it was still never enough, right? He just wasn't enough for him. So I was like, hey, no, he needs to go. Well, because I was teaching out of school in Elk Grove, and the secretary goes, hey, you got to go home. He had slapped my son. He slapped him.
Oh, damn.
In my country, women don't drive, and your wife's driving me to school. And your women shouldn't be in the same room when we're together. I'm like, okay, well, this is America, it's different here, this is our culture.
Yeah, it's like, hang on, you're being driven. You're being driven out.
Yeah, I go, would you rather walk?
How are you being
I'm like, I can't do that because we're supposed to be helping you out, right? But He slapped my son over something, I can't remember what it was, and so I go, hey, you can't just go around hitting other people's kids,
Yeah.
And I go, you're from another country, you don't understand my culture, so I'll have to let it slide. But I got him kicked out of my house, and then of course later on we find out, oh yeah, he's the first guy that went in the tower. I'm like, What the heck, man? Are you kidding me?
That's crazy. Because like when he was here, was he taking any kind of? Because where was it? Because a bunch of those dudes went somewhere in like Arizona or something, right? And they learned how to fly.
Yeah, those guys learned how to fly.
Yeah.
This guy he didn't seem like he had that kind of knowledge.
So okay, he wasn't here learning how to fly. I wonder like what he was here. So he was here just like gaining like how to learn how Americans were.
I guess so. Learning the language or just getting his visa, whatever. I don't know, passport. I don't know what his purpose was, but I didn't have him at my house very long.
I was gonna say you don't.
And then I look back, like if I'd have known he was like that, what would you have done?
I was like, it's like God forbid, like did you like kick him out of the house? And it's like he's like, you know what? I know how I'm gonna get this guy back.
Yeah. Well, I told that to some people once. I'm like, hey man, what if this guy ever comes? Well, he went in the tower, right? But if all his friends were like, hey man, I'll come back. We're gonna find this guy. Go get those guys.
You're right.
For treating me so bad. That's why I got my concealed carry. That's way back then.
Oh yeah, 100%. Now you gotta have one.
I asked the FBI agent. I go, hey man, what can I do to protect my family? He goes, well, we got rid of. Well, he's dead, but then we got all of his friends that were around him. We got them out of the country. They're gone, so you don't have to worry about them anymore. Well, how can I protect myself? He goes, I get concealed carry. So from that point on, I've had a concealed carry ever since. I'm like, I am not gonna have anybody, come to my house and just, I'm gonna protect my family.
Hell yeah. No, that's like in West Virginia, you don't even have to worry about concealed carry. It's almost like Texas. No, I had a college professor, not in school, but I'd see him like out at a restaurant or whatever. He'd have a Colt, like a 1911 Colt 45 right there. And I always liked that. I was like, yeah, this guy's badass, bro. You're the math teacher. No, he was the funniest math teacher, too. He reminded me of the dude from The Walking Dead because he had a mullet.
Oh, really?
That? So it's like it's just funny to someone that's really smart, but they got the mullet and everything. But it's like a West Virginia dude. But he sometimes in class, like, because he was, I don't know, like me, I'm pretty much independent, like almost anarchist. I don't want to get into politics or anything, but just because I'm gonna like mention his, like, I feel like just bring it up or whatever. Right. But like he was like really hardcore conservative or something like that. So sometimes in class, like, what can we say to get this dude riled up? Yeah. And say something, and he'd go off on on the politics and everything. Like no math lesson that day. Man. But if we get back to it, though, we're like, no, that's West Virginia. Yeah, some people probably got concealed carry. I think if you are in West Virginia, you do have to take a course in concealed carry because it's more like open carry is legal. Right. They'd rather, which to me makes sense. It's like, okay, you see someone has a gun, I don't really suspect them. But here in California, probably like different. Some see you walk around with a pistol out.
So open carry is not
only
an officer.
Yeah. But no, like there you see, not everyone's walking around like, but yeah, it's like not like uncommon to see someone just with a pistol on, and you're not really expecting them to start shooting anything other than if they're. The only thing they're going to do is they're going to see a deer in the woods and be like, I got my gun, I can track that. And they'll go do it. That's true. Failure or not. That's the only thing you got to worry about is someone probably poaching a deer because they got a gun. Yep. And they saw it. Like, that's 30 yards. That's right. But, yeah, that's West Virginia and all that. But, like, no, I feel like nowadays, you got to have concealed carry. I mean, people take a course with it and all that, so you learn.
Well, as long as people are proficient with it, they know the rules and they know how to handle it. By all means, they should have one. But if they can't handle it, they can't shoot well, they shouldn't have it then. But everyone has the right to defend themselves. Right. Things nowadays, it's not people pushing and shoving anymore. It's shootings, which is unfortunate. Right. But then there's knife. There's two people out there. There's quite a few people attacking with knives. There's a lot of violence going on because. Pretty much there's free reign. You don't get in trouble anymore.
No, that's true. Like San Francisco's going crazy out there whenever you're watching with like everything going on. It's like, man, how are they letting like all this like crazies go on? I watched something where a dude like robbed a bunch of phones at Apple Store and there was a cop car right outside and they didn't even do anything. I'm like, that's clearly a felony right there.
And then what was it, like only a certain amount you can steal, and then you're good to go. Like you can steal like 900 of those stuff.
Something like that. Yeah, I heard that. It was like like a high price, like.
And the problem is, the biggest truth problem is that there's so many people in prison and so much funds going into the prison system. They're trying to keep them out so they can just not have to feed and take care of the prisoners, which makes sense. But armed citizens make up the difference for no police force. But then, you have to have a police force to stop the crime, the violence, and then you gotta have people that have some kind of morals.
Yeah,
That's the whole thing too. You gotta have some people that have morals. I'm not gonna go rob a store
Right.
because I know I'm gonna get in trouble. I'm not gonna rob it because I don't want the poor people behind the store losing their business.
Yeah. Well, it's like probably kind of like just like that. Yeah, you probably would have someone say someone had a concealed carry, was of the mind to do it, and was like, "Hey, stop what you're doing," and the person stops, and you probably need someone else there, just like another civilian that would just like, "Hey, help me like detain this dude." Like, you know what I mean? Do something. But I guarantee you do all that. The cops probably gonna take 45 minutes to get there. When they get there, they're gonna be like, "Well, we just have to let this guy go."
Yeah.
You know, it's like
No, not enough cops, and they're low funded, and they can't answer your call.
right.
Pretty scary times.
Yeah, but it's like almost in a situation like when you do that, it's like, okay, there's like clearly like a crime going here. If this is, I guess, but almost at that point, it's like, do us as a society say this is a crime? Because you know what I mean.
Yeah.
In the past, you'd be like, okay, and a cop would obviously arrest him. But it's like now, if the cop's not even going to adhere to the law, and it's like, well, if that's the case, I'm going to take these phones then too. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, if he's fine, then I'm going to do it. And if you try to. But who knows? They probably try to arrest you then for being like, well, you have a gun and you're a sane individual. That's bad news.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing with all these killings. It's irresponsible people. Mm-hmm. You don't ever hear any responsible people that got their mindset right, going out and doing that kind of stuff. It's somebody who's just supposedly lost their mind, or they're doing, and they got the guns illegally. What the heck? How that's happening? Crime.
Well, I mean, you also make the guns illegal, so you have them, It's
Yeah, well, you take guns away, then it turns into rocks, sticks, throwing objects, cars.
Oh, they're already trying to do the car part. That was the other
one. Electric. Everyone wants to go electric now. No thanks. I like my truck.
Right. I was gonna say I wouldn't mind having an electric vehicle and a gas one too. But
yeah, that would be nice. That'd be a nice trade.
But I have a feeling, but the electric one, you can't get anywhere with it. Yeah, you still need the gas car to go far. Like the electric car is like, okay, that's to get around town then.
Yeah. Get around town, and the far distance stuff would be my vehicle, my gas vehicle. But it's all they're trying to change that.
Yeah, I don't get like some of the California politics. I guess that's we're getting on to. Have you ever thought about getting involved in politics or doing anything? Have you ever done anything?
So you know, I'm not a Democrat and I'm not a Republican.
Gotcha.
I am a constitutional conservative.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that.
So that's what I am. And there's that's a libertarian. Nope, not a libertarian. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. Because right now, in my mind, the Democrats and Republicans are not doing any of us a favor.
Yeah, they're like the worst thing out there right now. Like I look at both of them like, bro, you're like two bratty kids in like a nursery. Like you're breaking toys and crying about them because they're broken.
And they're not, no Republicans and Democrats, no one's doing anything to really do good for our country right now. Mm-hmm. And everyone's trying to subvert whatever. I don't know what's over money or whatever it is, but no one's like standing up for what's right, truthful, and moral. No one just, I don't see what's going on. So people go, are you in politics? And I go, yeah. I'm a constitutional conservative. I believe the Constitution overrides a lot of the things that are going on. And people, a lot of the groups are saying, no, we want to change the Constitution. We want to go get rid of it. It's old and outdated. Old and outdated. It was set up for us to establish a good, less government, more of the people. And then here we are.
Yeah, it got kind of hijacked by, well, it really got hijacked, I'd say, like the federal government and all that.
The federal government shouldn't be existing, by the way.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that one, too. That's a whole other level. But, yeah, like I said with me, like I'm probably more anarchist how I feel, but that's not, like, I'm libertarian in a sense, but like I said, I lean more anarchy. But when I say this, like, I don't think at some point we should, as human beings, we're not there yet to really have it, but when we're evolved at the point where it's like, oh, I'm not going to do that because that's going to affect that person negatively, which is they're going to affect everything else negatively. Right. You know what I mean? It's like you have to have like a mathematical, like almost a geometrical like look at it.
You do.
To see like, if I do wrong here, that just is going to spread.
Yeah.
And like my view too is like we're like my rights end where your rights begin.
Well, everything has an aftershock. And so how I approach things, do things is how's it going to affect everyone else in my community?
Yeah.
That's when the breakdown's coming. Some people are like, who cares? I don't care. It's about myself.
Right, and I agree with that too. Is like I think that first you have to look after yourself first, make sure that you're good and everything. Because if you're not, how can you really help someone? But once you're there, you can't be like a narcissist or anything. You got to be like, all right, well, I'm here now. I can obviously like give someone else some help because I've had help in the past too and all that. So
yeah, that's where we're at. Not really, but it'd be nice to do that.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to do that.
No, there's like some cats that got good mindset and all that, but then again, that's what like having just good conversation. You kind of find the middle ground's usually kind of like the best spot because it's the only place where you can make an agreement. And be like,
nowadays everyone wants to argue. They want the better the heat, the hotter the argument, the better. That way you want to resolve issues and solve issues, not create bigger ones for everyone.
Right.
That ripple effect, aftershock, affects everybody. You got to be real careful how we treat each other in our communities.
No, for sure. Like, what's your thought on like Robert Kennedy and all that? Ronnie, have you seen any of his?
So, yeah, I know. So I know he has a lot of good things, but then he's so far Democratic, right?
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Well, he's more on the Democratic side that he's running.
Right, but he's got some ideas. I mean, he's right. I have a couple of his books.
Oh, okay.
So I'm an avid book reader, so everyone's all, well, so after 9/11, I quit watching the news because I realized that every time I watch the news, I was set myself up for some kind of fear factor. Like, at the time, it was a drought. Terrible time to start a landscape business, but I did it anyhow. Because I'm thinking, if you go out and mow lawns, you have to have water to mow a lawn. No one's got any water, no one's not going to mow lawns, so it's like, why start a landscape business? But I did it anyhow, and I got through it. But then I thought, man, I watched the news, and the news predicts my day. Like, you're going to have a bad day today, going out, you're going to be afraid, I'm going to be afraid, watch out for this, watch out for that. And I'm like, okay, so I haven't watched the news since 2011, or 2001, right?
Gotcha.
Or 9/11, so I meant. I haven't watched the news. I don't watch it. I don't watch the weather. I don't watch any of the news. I've totally wiped out the negativity out of my mind. And I go home and I watch TV. I watch what I want to watch. I watch Bonanza, or I watch some kind of Western, or I watch something motivational or positive, and I don't try to let any of the negative insurgencies in my head at all. No news. It's all. My mom watches the news and all she gets is just negative and negative and negative. And I'm just like, she goes, how do you walk out the door? And I go, because I'm life to live. I can't be afraid.
That's like a lot of people that see anything anymore. It's like they watch the news. It's like all this like fear factor like kind of stuff. Just like I'm like, it's not
and what's
really
true?
that bad.
What's true? What's not true? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I heard there's a whole big uprising in Russia. I contacted some friends over there. And like, there was nobody riding in the street.
It was like 4 people, if that.
Yeah, like what? You want what? I have some friends that know about what's going on in Ukraine. And you just go, really? That's just all. I've had some friends, I've had some students and friends go over and fight in Ukraine and come back and go, I'm out of there, man. It's a lost cause. It's this and that. Like, I don't even want to be involved. Why do you even go over there? I'm glad I'm alive.
Yeah, well, it's kind of something that I don't know if the CIA started this or what.
That's a rumor.
I know that they have like video of Biden over there talking like a few years ago or whatever, where he's like, and I told him, if my son doesn't get this job, you don't get this money. You don't get
losing their job.
And I was like, what, are you kidding me, man? That's that's bribery, right? That's all kinds of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You don't get
it's in our face. It's like we see this thing, it's all in our face, but somehow some people are denying it, and you're like, how can you be denying that? There are some evil, mean, malicious things going on, and all, this politics and these that hierarchy is just, like they say, clean the swamp and the sewer. Oh my gosh. I mean, it's really bad. It's right in our face.
Right? Like, it's a diseased swamp. Everyone in there is like a radiated mutant.
Yeah, really. It's laundered and money and who knows what's going on.
And that's another thing too. I hate lobbyists. Lobbyists, I feel like if you want to get rid of anything bad, like you get rid of lobbying. Lobbying should be like the main illegal thing. It's just hey, I'll give you this money right here. You just do this for me. Hey, I like this idea of a law. Don't you like this idea of a law? Wouldn't it be something that, what if this law came to, I wish I could write laws, but I can only give you so much money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
And then, so I'm like, how do you not, that's like the main thing too, but Yeah, I don't know how you just do not get rid of lobbyists, man. That's like one of the main corrupt things right there.
I know some.
Oh yeah, it's a good racket. It's a good racket for sure.
If you do this, we'll do this. Like what? You know, it's
No.
not good.
No, it was like when they cleaned up everything. Whenever like the Chinese came in, like nothing against Chinese, well, the Chinese government, the politicians in China, they was like, well, we got some big money thing coming in here, some international hoo-wah, so we gotta. The Chinese don't like bums. We gotta get them off the streets.
Oh yeah, well, remember that? What happened there, right?
Recently? Yeah, that's what I was talking
they
about.
Up the streets, so they can't.
Yeah, they cleaned up, like just pushed it all out in the bay.
Did that before, huh?
Mm-hmm. Right, and then they just bring them all back. But it's like, well, if you had like a better economy over there and things running, you'd be all right. Because like everyone, well, I don't know. I haven't gone over to the Bay for a minute just to do a couple comedy things, but I don't go over there and like shop really or anything.
Right.
I check out like some of the cool sites and all that. I go there for like Haight Ashbury and Jack Kerouac. It's like, you know what I mean? Those are my influences. But then like but I've heard like a lot of companies have moved out. But some of the techies are still there, right? It's a lot of tech.
Most of them, because they're not being affected by their, you have a couple storefronts. Now storefronts are being hammered and stolen and, depleted of all their funds or their insurance rates. So some are still there. But I took my kids there to San Francisco. I took my son a couple years ago. Really disappointed in San Francisco Chinatown.
Oh, really? I haven't been there for a minute.
It was really bad.
Oh.
Homeless people and just really bad.
Damn.
And then I took my daughter recently. I went and saw the Cult, the band, the Cult.
Okay.
I gave Ian Ashbury one of my books.
I'll tell you.
And Ian Ashbury, by the way, is really into Tibetan culture, like I am. I'm into the Tibetan culture.
Okay.
And then I gave him my book, and then I took my daughter down there, and it was surprising. Chinatown actually was cleaned up a little bit.
Oh, sure.
It wasn't as bad as it was when I was there a few years, but everything else surrounding it, it's pretty horrendous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the city of San Francisco is gone really. It's not a really super clean, nice city anymore. Well, they call it sanctuary cities. A sanctuary city is for someone to come,
right,
and gain sanctuary if they want to become, right. But now everyone took it mistakenly wrong. But sanctuary cities where we can go sleep on the streets and we can bring all the homeless in. See, that's where everyone thinks sanctuary city is. That's
because it was like for like a lot of like it was like, okay, well, if you're an immigrant coming in, you'll be all right here.
Yeah.
But it's like I get like you're trying to be. It's like, oh, okay, but now you overflooded it.
Yeah.
You got all the riffraff and everything, and then people get kicked out, and it's like, yeah.
Yeah. So then it's not no longer a sanctuary city. It's got to be a real ugly city.
Right. It's been, like I said, it's been a little bit since I've been there. Last time I was there, it wasn't as bad. Whatever part I was at, I can't remember what part it was actually like now, but it was pretty clean, nothing bad. Anytime I've gone over to Oakland hasn't really been that bad actually. Yeah. It seems, which people probably surprised, like, hang on, how this happened? People probably say Oakland was a tragic thing. Like, nah, it's San Francisco. Oakland's cool.
Yeah.
I had like a thought I was going to say like that related to Oakland. Yeah, but again, like the stuff about Oakland though too is like everyone's leaving out of there now. Like the Oakland A's, the Raiders have been gone, but I mean Raiders kind of go back and forth from some place to the other.
It's all about who wants to buy them and then it's all about how many people they can get into those stadiums.
Yeah.
Vegas is now like the hot spot, but I heard Vegas is very expensive.
Yeah, no, it's an expensive place.
It's not like it's cheap like it used to be. It's expensive to go to Vegas now, but it's the hot spot.
Right.
They have control of the city. They have good police force. They have real good control, and they keep everything really good. Some of these other cities that just
and they got all that gambling money coming in too.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. You go there to gamble, and eat, and all that stuff.
No, I love Vegas. It's a fun town, man. Like,
I've been there several times. It's fun, but I don't gamble. But I've been there.
Right.
It's fun to go see all the spectacular, lights and shows. That's the attraction. But man, when you're not taking care of your city and the crime gets bad, no one wants to come around and watch a football game.
Yeah. How can you even afford a ticket though to the football game too?
Well then, I've seen those. I thought I'm gonna go to a game. No, I don't have the money.
Right. I mean, even the Kings games can be pretty expensive.
Oh yeah.
And all that. But I mean, me like anymore, it's like I'm gonna get tickets. Like I might as well just get one of the cheap ones because unless I get a seat like really like close to the court, like I don't really go up there and like to sit. I'm just like I just stand kind of close to where the media is. That's like one of the best places. I mean, if you don't mind standing, but you're having too much fun of a time anyway to really care. You're talking to people like rooting or you know talking like smack like somebody and be like, oh yeah, they're gonna
Yeah.
whatever. So no, it's fun, but yeah, it can get expensive just to do anything like anymore, man.
Anything out of town is gas and food and travel is pretty ugly.
Yeah. Like that said, do you ever go like to much martial art tournaments or anything like that out of town? Or?
Well, so for me, I train with Guru Dan Inosanto.
Okay.
And Guru Dan Inosanto, if you want to become an instructor or maintain an instructorship, you have to get a certain amount of hours every year. Yeah. So I travel to LA. I go to LA at least once a year, or I go out of state. Like last year, I went to Denver, and I got to train with them there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Denver's going to be. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Yeah. I was just going to say with the atmosphere, that's going to be crazy, like a crazy shift too, because the air's so you're so high up. The air's like oxygen's less up there.
Wasn't that bad training there? Got a little tired. But I go to Denver or I go to LA or Guru Dan comes up here to Sacramento. So I'm just quite a few years. But yeah, so that's what I do with him. I don't fight anymore. I did a couple of Muay Thai fights before I retired from boxing. And then, but now I help teach at Legacy, and there's some fights coming up. I go to fights to watch or to corner or work for somebody.
Yeah.
I don't compete anymore, but I don't do any of the tournament stuff anymore. Too old.
No,
I just realized, I'm too old to fight all these young kids. My last Muay Thai fight, I got beat up by a 21-year-old kid. I was like 50 years old. And later on he came and he goes, dude, I apologize, man. I didn't know you're so old. I'm all, thanks a lot.
I didn't know you were so old.
Because I know you're 50 years old. I'm all, yeah, well, I got to go to work on Monday. He goes, I tried to kill you. And I go, I know.
He went to actual war on you. Like, was it a fight or was it like sparring?
It was a Muay Thai. It was a Muay Thai fight, but there was supposed to be no knockouts, no.
Okay. At first second, I think like sparring kind of fight. I'm like, man, if he's going to war.
Yeah,
like,
but he was out to kill me. He was just like.
Oh yeah, but if it's a fight or anything, and you're that young, yeah, for sure, man.
And then later on, he's like, dude, I apologize, man, because I just thought you looked younger like me, and I just gone and I come find out, man, you're a 50-year-old man. I was like, because I would have given you a little more respect. And I go, well, that's all right. I would give you a little bit, but that's cool. Well, it's a fight game, you know, kicking and punching. I got kicked and punched a lot, way more than I could get you, because you were like, I go, you were out to kill me, dude. He's all.
Yeah, it was more of like your strategy had to be more defense.
Yeah, mine was like, I'm here to like, bang, bang, you know, he's like, I'm going to kill you, man. You know, I'm like, I'm just saying, wait, I got to go back to work on Monday. One guy I fought one time, I went over to his corner, I go, hey, dude, you got to go a little easy, man. I go, you're going like, you're trying to slaughter me, dude. I go, I got to work on Monday, and I want to, have my head on straight. And he's all, my friend's all here watching, I ain't going easy. I back to my guy, like, I'm in for a fight of my life.
I was saying, whenever you said that, were you just like, I want to try and knock this kid out?
Well, then he tried to hurt me, so I went, okay, you asked for it. So I went, dang, and I saw something white fly out. I knocked out part of his tooth.
Oh, damn.
And so then later he goes, dude, you knocked out a big old chunk of my tooth. And I go, I told you.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not going to go. Yeah.
And you were going hard, so I gave you, and you to slow down. And he goes, that hurts so bad, dude. That's the hardest I've ever been hit. And I go, told you. Right. Remember, I had control. I was like, I was just like, I was doing I was like, I like the competition, not the slaughter part of it, You were trying to kill me. Well, my friends were all watching. I don't want to look like a chump. And I go, you didn't look like a chump, dude.
Right. Well, now you did. Like, you knocked his tooth out. Just like
he got all bad too, by the way. He got very angry. Tooth broke down. He got all bad. Forfeited his.
Oh yeah, all his friends were like, oh yeah, he's gonna hear about that forever. But that's on him, bro. That's what he was like.
So, sorry, man. That's part of the game. I go. I told you to go easy, so.
Yeah, you got to
never get that tooth back ever again. Bang.
Right into the audience. It's a souvenir now.
Yeah, I went somewhere. I was like, where'd it go? Oh well. It's your loss, not mine.
Right. So, like, with that, what led you into getting into martial arts in the first place?
Well, so it's been the common story for my whole entire life. In fact, I got a book coming out, and I talk about it. So I was bullied as a kid. I had bright red hair, freckles all the time, so I always got picked on a lot. But then I was kind of a nerd too, so I kind of like attracted it, right? I was a magnet for bullies. And then I just got to a point where I was getting tired of getting beat up all the time, and then a man moved in my neighborhood who taught martial arts. And one day he goes, I can help you solve that problem. I go, what problem? Bust up nose, a black eye. And I go, how can you help me with that? He goes, I'll teach you how to fight back. And I'm all, well, if you fight back, then I'm going to get in trouble too. So it's like, then it's just, fighting, you're encouraging fighting. He goes, no, there's a difference between, there's martial arts, and then there's fighting arts, and then there's people who just like to be bullies. Mm-hmm. And I'm all, okay, well, I'm getting bullied at school. And he goes, well, come start learning martial arts. Learn how to stand up for yourself. Learn how to take a punch. Learn how to get tougher. And I'm like, but that's not, I'm learning to fight. So it's defeating the purpose. So now, who's gonna win the fight? He goes, well, most of the time, if you have the courage just to say no to somebody, mm-hmm. and maybe just say no, sometimes that usually prevents the bullies from stopping or hurting you any further. So it kind of worked, and then but then they get physical. But it was one day in woodshop, one guy came up to me. He jumped up on it. What do you do? He did something to hit me, and I jumped on top of a table and I kicked him right in the chest real hard. Yeah. He went flying back, and he's all, what? And I go, get your hands off me, dude. And then they were just kind of like, oh, then they're like, wait a second, if I mess with him, he fights back. Yeah. Let's go find the other guy. He's easier, right? But then I became kind of an advocate for all the kids in my school. Hey, you getting picked on? Yeah. So you go take these guys and go there. Hey, he's picking on little Bobby, and they'll yeah, and we kind of rough him a little bit. Like, leave your hand, get him off.
Tony Soprano shows up.
Yeah. So then I was like, but I'm like, I could make this really bad. I could go around beating people up and harming them, and I think I'm a bully. So there's a gray area. You kind of like, we talked about balance earlier. You kind of like, okay, hang on a second. Wait a second. Yeah. Now I know how to fight back. Now I want to start bullying people. Wait a second. Maybe I should consider this as a way to teach people how to self-empowerment more than when I first originated. All about the violence. Oh no, it's all about self-empowerment. Standing up to somebody and saying no, and they go, oh, and hey man, I know how to fight. So if you want to fight, well, I thought you were easy. Yeah, I'll back off. But there's still those guys that are going to challenge you. So I took those guys, and the next thing you know, I'm the top dog, and no one was touching me. But I was staying humble, and I'm like, hey, maybe I should pursue a boxing career. So my dad got me into boxing, and then when my boxing career ended, I was like, well, I still got. Remember we were talking about earlier, like these fighters just can't get it out of their blood. Yeah. Well, there I am, older, can't fight anymore. What am I going to do? I can do martial arts. So then 1994, 94-ish, I wrote Larry Hartzell. Okay. And he was a student of Bruce Lee. And I was going to talk to Guru Dan Inosanto, but I felt Guru Dan Inosanto was kind of untouchable. Okay. Like, he's more popular.
Now, is he in the San Francisco area too, or
Inosanto was in Los Angeles.
Okay.
And then Larry Hartzell was too.
All right.
And I thought, that's still a long ways to go see them, right? Yeah. So I wrote Larry Hartzell. So don't worry about me. You come to me, I'm coming to you. Oh, sure. I train at a school called Elk Grove Martial Arts Academy. Oh, all right. I'm there twice a year. I'm like, so there I was, 1994. Oh, all right. I started training with Larry Hartzell, and then I trained with him all the way till the day he died. Oh, damn. Okay. A couple weeks before he died of colon cancer. Mm. But I trained him once or twice a year from 1994, 95-ish, all the way till he passed away. And but then I started kind of hanging out with Guru Dan, because then I found out, Guru Dan's not so untouchable as I thought. He's actually just very popular. Mm-hmm. You have to just kind of work your way in and get there. And so I'm in a book with Guru Dan. I train him twice a year. I've been doing that for almost 25 years, training him. I can train with Guru Dan at least once a year. And I exchange knowledge. I learned the Filipino martial arts. So Krav Maga, by the way. Okay. Krav Maga and Jeet Kune Do are very similar because they've already intertwined a lot of the techniques. Mm-hmm. A lot of the techniques are intertwined now. So Krav Maga, Jeet Kune Do, all the stuff you see kind of the UFC now is basically 3 or 4 arts put together. Like, what do you mean? Well, there's kicking range, there's punching range. Trapping is that like where you're kind of like arms are free but they're kind of close and locked. Mm. And then you have the grappling. So you'll see most UFC fighters are doing 3 arts. They're learning where to kick. They go to Muay Thai school. Bang, bang, they learn how to kick. Then they go to professional boxing school. Bang, 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 they learn to punch. and they go to jiu-jitsu school. Oh man, and they do it to grapple because in the UFC fights, guys will go, oh well, I got dumped in my back.
Yeah.
And what am I gonna do now? Oh, I know how to grapple. I know how to do jiu-jitsu. So now you see him basically 3 yards in a caged area doing the fighting.
Mm-hmm.
But then out in the streets, you might go, oh, he might kick me enough so he pulls a knife. Oh no.
Right.
You know, so then you got to learn. Well, what do I do there? Run. Because if I stick around, I'm probably gonna get cut real bad.
Right.
Or I might stab him, and he dies, and then I'm in a lawsuit. Or he stabbed me real bad, and I go to the doctor, and I got all kinds of scars on me, and my hands can't work and function work. So what do? I don't want to fight. So then you start learning, like I do. Hey, negotiate. Like the bouncing work I do. Hey man, I don't want to fight, dude. I would like to have you come back next week, but if you keep going off like this, it's gonna get real ugly. So you just try to, downplay everything. Just calm down, sort of just diffuse everything as much as you can. And really, that's what true martial arts is anyhow, right? Hey, let's not fight. Let's go hang out and have a good time and talk and do something different.
Out here, actually, I've diffused like 3 different fights. Like, you know what I mean? One was more of an acquaintance than anything, but he was not saying anything bad to the person, but the other person was too drunk, I think, to really comprehend it, because he's like that. Because my buddy was like, "What you're doing right now is going to cause harm to your family," because he's all about that karmic, all that kind of thing. And he's like, "What about my family?" I'm like, "Oh my God, shut the fuck up!" He doesn't. You're trying to be Mr. Philosophical,
Next thing you know,
and this guy's an idiot. He can't understand philosophy. So, like, thank God for like boxing and everything. Like, I just wrapped up on the dude, and the way I don't remember the guy throwing a punch and me blocking it, but now I do. But that's what, because like Sean had told me, he's like, "Bro, I didn't realize you were gonna like take a punch," because I just remember like wrapping up. But I guess he had thrown it, and I kind of just knocked it, and I wrapped him up. And I was like, "Bro, they're calling the cops. You gotta get out of here." And again, this wasn't even a friend of mine; it was just some idiot. And he's like, "Good point." And he got out there and drove, and the cops come and everything. And then they take questions, and I don't know, whatever, they leave. But then at other times down in Roseville, there's outside like smoking and like just talking to some people, and there's this chick throwing up, and her boyfriend's like, "You guys are smoking, that's making her throw up," and this other chick's like, "That's alcohol." And then now this argument starts, and then the one dude who I was talking to was like just a friend with, he started trying to big motherfucker dude, and he starts like trying to, I'm like, "You know what, I want to knock him." I was like, "Nah," and I just wrapped him up and just walked him back and was able to calm him down. And then dude over there never even like did anything, which thank God, because he was a big dude too. But I was like, whatever. But it was funny because then for a minute there was like almost an argument. But yeah, I managed to diffuse the whole thing. That's
a true martial arts,
right? But what was funny is there was like these 2 dudes that are just like chilling up against the building, like not the whole time. They show up at some point. This is going on, watching, and then they're like, "Yeah, you handled that pretty well." And it's like, "Yeah, we do security and whatever." Like, really, you do security, you don't want to, like, try to, like, stop anything either. You're like, "I'm handling the whole thing." It was just funny, these 2 people.
And they're like, "Hey, man, you did the work for them."
Yeah, right? But they weren't security there. I don't know where they were security from. I think they were just off work and showed up. And they were just like, "Oh, let's see what happens." And I wish I would do that, too. You see a fight, I'll intervene if it needs it. But they were just like, "Yeah, you handled that pretty well." But I'm like, there's, like, 2 of you. You don't want to, like, go over there and stop the one person while I'm handling the one end, because like, just thank God, like,
they're off duty.
yeah, right. It's like we broke up for it. Yeah, we broke up 10 fights tonight. This is on you now. You're the one who got involved, right?
A lot of my medical friends are the same way. Like, I'm not treating someone on the job. I'm not treating somebody off the job. You're like, well, all right.
Right. It's almost kind of like doing a comedy or playing music. I play a little bit of music too, or doing a role. Sometimes people are just like, "Oh, can you tell me a joke? Play me a song. Can you do me a voice? Do something." You know what I mean? It's like, I ain't in the mindset to do this. Right? Sometimes, I mean, I can turn it right on, but sometimes it's like, I ain't feeling this. Why make it? Like, I don't want to work right now. That's not work.
Yep.
So, but no, that's cool.
Hey, we're going to take a pause real quick so I can talk to you about Grizzly's Cosmic Black. It's a fine mixture of gourmet cola and bourbon, made ready for you. Grab it at your local spirit shop or order online. Now, back to Nosotros Trabajamos Duro.
There's probably intelligent life out there. I'm sure there is. I'm pretty positive. I have never really seen one myself, but I'm telling you, I'm pretty sure there's probably intelligent life out there.
Yeah, I'm really
sure we're
big in it
visited.
too.
You know what I mean? Not to sound like, but like,
the universe is too big, and I think that any kind of species where it could be so advanced, and we're sending stuff into space too.
Well, you look out there,
Like-
where all those planets, stars,
Yeah.
galaxies and stuff. So, I mean, we're not the only ones. I don't think we're the only ones here.
Hell no, I don't think so. I hope we're not. But it's
Yeah.
like, but who was it? One scientist said, he's like, either we're entirely alone or we're not alone. And he said both are equally terrifying.
Yeah.
Equally terrifying.
Very true. Yeah, equally terrifying.
And I was like, man, that's spooky to like think about it. But yeah, I believe. I just didn't know if you had any kind of like I don't know any kind of encounter or anything like
No,
that.
I've never had any encounters. In a way, kind of like my favorite band, Ballister Cult.
Yeah.
There's a song they call "Take Me Away," where it's
Oh yeah, I know.
I want to
that
meet some
song.
aliens. Come take me away. I was like, that'd be kind of cool. I would love to have seen a UFO or something, but I've never haven't.
I'm open to this could not be a UFO at all, but this is what I've had two instances, both in the daytime actually. One was at work where a buddy of mine, Jamel, were like flipping panels, doing something, and it's, who knows? It could have been the sun reflecting off of a plane, but it didn't feel like that. Like I look over there and I'm like, oh man, what do you think that's a UFO or what? Because it's just like it's a blue sky and everything, but you see clear as day like a light there, almost like a star looking. You know what I mean? Either something glowing in the sun or something producing its own light. But it's kind of staying in one spot and not really doing anything. And Jamel's like, well, if that thing just take on out of here. And as soon as he said it, it was just gone. You didn't see it move. It just wasn't there.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, well, it could have been a plane flying, reflecting sunlight. And But just the way it was there, it's like, I don't know. And then the other one was also in the daytime. It was at work, not in that same spot, but I'm over here like looking up. And it's the same thing, like the same, like what I was seeing like at that part of there, it was like another just bright, either reflecting sun producing its own light, but I could see it bright enough in the day sky. And it's just kind of in the same spot. But I think maybe that one moved just a little bit, just made like subtle movements. I can't tell you if they went like that or whatever, but it was doing that. Then all of a sudden, you know how you see heat coming off the ground when it has
the waves.
Yeah, I saw I could see something like that. I could see something like that in front of it, and then it was just kind of gone. And in my imagination, it seemed like that one, it looked like it kind of made a shoot away. The other one, it just seemed like that one was gone, right? The first one I told you about, it was just like gone. This one, I saw like that little like heat, like little like wave things, and then all of a sudden that one was the one that looked like it shot off. The other one looks like it just disappeared. That one looked like it kind of like just shot away. Now again, could I've just been seeing a plane and then the imagination, but I don't know. That's what I know I saw.
My grandfather saw Foo Fighters.
Oh, okay. Was he in World War II?
My grandfather was a bomber pilot.
Okay, all right.
World War
Let's see
II.
about that, man. That'd be tight.
He saw the ME-262s, and he said he saw some objects up in the sky he couldn't describe.
And this is prior to the as far as we know, the Nazis having jet planes.
When he was bombing Germany, he says when we're flying night missions, I saw some stuff up in the sky that we couldn't explain,
With night vision, he had on. Okay.
Or just flying at night. He said we saw some stuff flying over us, going pretty fast stuff. And he saw. So I don't doubt there's UFOs out there because I saw them. Well, hey, I'm not going to argue with that.
Yeah, no, that's interesting because both sides reported them, and both of them thought that they were the Germans thought they were Americans thought they were Germans, or that was I know mainly about those in the continental ones. I don't know much if I'm sure that happened probably in the Pacific too.
I'm
the
sure.
Japanese seeing them, and then we dropped the bomb in the Pacific. They had to have seen a bunch of them over there,
I'm sure. I doubt it. I don't doubt that there's probably intelligent life out there, and they probably see us, and probably with our technology.
Yeah.
We have we've gone from gliders, so now we have supersonic airplanes and
stealth bomb. We got stuff. Now they're wanting to shoot us into. Well, I'll get in one of these plane things, but it's like you kind of go. You're not in outer space. You're just kind of out of the atmosphere where you're kind of in space. But
the SR-71, that's where he flies. Mm-hmm. The old spy plane, the SR-71, that flew right along the atmosphere.
Yeah, that's you're right. Those things are crazy because to me, I watched that one movie Bridge of Spies where the dude's flying like that U-2, or whatever, and you can see how they're like almost in space. I'm like, man, that's crazy. It's like you wouldn't even want to eject your plane there because you get
No thanks.
Yeah, because you're in space now, dude.
Yeah.
You're not coming back.
You're not
You gotta
deploy your chute and never come back.
Yeah. It's like I was like, man, you almost have to like hope to get shot down, lose some altitude. Okay, now I can shoot out and go safely down. But even those dudes, like I think we're supposed to take like a cyanide pill or something like that either.
I have no idea on that one, but
I'd have to watch that again. It was something like they had something if you get shot down. I think it was again, I'll have to, anyone listening, you can check it out or anything. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but whatever. But from what I remember, it was like they had the thing like that. Yeah, if it was like shot down, I think it was also to avoid being captured or whatever. Take like you had a cyanide pill to take or whatever, some sort of poison that kill you on the way down.
Yeah, so you know someone's not kept as a spy and tortured. And...
Yeah, so it was like something like that, but yeah, that was in Bridge of Spies, and like the one dude he ejects, and then you have the whole history there where they get him back. Spoiler alert, but that's all I'll say about that. It's history. What do you gotta know?
Yeah.
Now, dude, did you see Bridge of Spies? I was curious to see if you the one with Tom Hanks where he like brings it's like they do the trade of spies. And
if I did, it was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a Steven Spielberg movie. I liked it a lot. It was one of the. I've seen a few movies in theaters since then, but it's like one of the last few that I've seen that were really good.
Yeah, I think I've seen it. It was a long time ago.
Gotcha. Before we got kind of cut off there a little bit earlier, I know we were talking about martial arts, so let's see if there was any kind of books you wanted to talk about a little bit. Or?
I'm a huge avid book reader. I mean, I hit book sales, yard sales, thrift stores. At the university, there's giving books away all the time. I just grab books all the time. But I have some ones I really like. Anything by Jocko Willink.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Jocko. I have all his books. I'm actually I sell his products.
Oh,
like
okay,
his
really?
drinks and stuff like that. I'm an ambassador for him.
Okay, I was gonna see like you saw him at because you have a gym and stuff, right? That you train people, correct?
Yeah, so I have a boxing gym up in Grass Valley.
Okay.
And I teach over at Legacy on Fridays, and I do private lessons out of my own house.
Oh, all right.
But my gym up in Grass Valley, I was selling all his products on my display case because he's got some good ideas. Like the drink don't have any sugar. Mm-hmm. And they're nutritious. They're actually really good for you instead of just like drinking a bunch of trash.
Right.
But anything by Jocko is because it's all about positive, being disciplined. Have you ever heard of Jim Rohn? Jim Rohn was a very famous motivational speaker. It's kind of like this is the modern day Jim Rohn because Jim Rohn passed away, and this is a Navy SEAL.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm familiar with Jocko from I listen to Joe Rogan and everything. I like Jocko a lot.
Yeah, he's just like hardcore. Discipline, positive stuff. I've gone through 2 really nasty divorces, and my second divorce was even the worst because she put twice the amount of the pressure on me as my first wife did, right? So I'm looking for things that's going to be motivational and positive. So Jocko would be a big choice for me. So I was reading his stuff all the time. So and then reading some books. One of my good friends, Marcus Aurelius Anderson, he wrote a book called The Gift of Adversity.
This is Marcus Aurelius, you said? Or?
Yeah, Marcus Aurelius Anderson.
Okay, Anderson. I thought, because I know that they have some of Marcus Aurelius's writings.
Yeah, the Stoic books like that, they have some of his books out.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure. I'm not to interrupt you, I'm sorry. I wasn't sure if that's who it was, Marcus Aurelius, and it was some of that kind of rewrote. But okay, that's just, I get it now. But
he had got injured in the military, and they basically told him he was never going to walk again.
Oh, man.
And he just kind of beat the odds, and this is one of the first books I read that got me out of my funk. Like, I'm a loser. I couldn't keep my marriage together.
Okay.
And he's like, the adversity you're going to face is a gift. I'm all, I don't know, who's going to call it a gift? I'm crying all the time. I'm upset. Why is this a gift,
Yeah.
But his book is an excellent book. And that was one of my very first books I read that kind of got me out of my funk and gave me back. He was actually the second book that I read. The first one I read was by, I guess I should mention him first. Tom Shea.
Okay, so Tom Shea and then Adversity?
Yeah, I read Tom Shea's books first. He has one called Unbreakable, A Navy SEAL's Way of Life.
Oh, all right.
The second book is called 3 Simple Things. But the first book got me into this book here, the 3 Simple Things. But, he's an ex-Navy SEAL sniper. And his stuff really pulled me through my divorce. He sent me a shirt that said Unbreakable on it. And I wore that shirt probably to court 37, 38 times to court. If I had to wear a white shirt and tie, I wore it underneath. If I didn't have to wear a white shirt and tie, I just had to be kind of casual, I'd wear it on the front. And I just always wore it. It said Unbreakable. I was always trying to tell myself, I'm unbreakable, man. I want to cry. My ex-wife put me through hell. I want to cry, and I feel like a criminal. I feel like a total idiot. But Tom Shade's telling me, you're unbreakable, man. You're ready for this. You can do it. And he inspired me. So he gave me a shirt that said Unbreakable on it. But then I read all his books. And so Three Simple Things is the most recent one. And I credit him as the first one to get me out of kind of saved my life, get me out of my funk. And then Marcus Aurelius Anderson is the second person that got me out of my funk.
Huh.
I credit them. Another good book by Jordan Stevenson, Unstoppable: The Power of Never Giving Up. This is an excellent book. It's a really good book.
Oh, cool. Oh yeah, we got the surgery there.
Yep. Basically got shot in the head, and I think he was pretty much, they didn't think he was going to make it.
Oh man.
And if I remember correctly, I've read so many books now. I'll quote something from somebody like, "Oh, that wasn't my quote. That was from another book." I'm like, "Oh man, I'm sorry. I read so many books."
No, I fall. I can do that too. Misquote somebody.
One of the first books that I've ever read that just totally changed my entire life was The Way of the Peaceful Warrior by Dan Millman. And it was actually made into a movie.
Oh, okay.
The movie's actually really good too, but the book's the best. I read this book a long, long time ago, like probably in the early 90s. Mm-hmm. I read it. It changed my life. I gave it to my dad. My dad, it took me like a week to read it. My dad comes back. He goes, I couldn't put it down. I go, what do you mean? He's all, I read it one night. I go, you read the book in one night? He goes, that's the best book I've ever read. I'm like, what was really cool is one day someone said, hey, Dan Millman's coming to Grass Valley.
Oh, wow.
And he's doing a seminar. I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me. I was front row. I was there. I got a T-shirt from him and everything. We shook hands and I got to meet him. But this is a great book called Way of the Peaceful Warrior. It was written, I think, back in the 70s, but it's one of my all-time favorite books because it's a really good book. It's very inspirational. The books that change your life. It will change your life. I love reading books.
Hell yeah. No, I do too. I've been bad at it recently though. I've been on the same Stephen King book for like over a year.
Oh boy, I love Stephen King.
Yeah, I do too. Like I've had like 3 that I've started. Like not just Stephen King. I got a Jimmy Page book that I'm reading, and then some Louis Anderson Western that I'm like reading.
I read a bunch of his in high school.
Yeah, his are good, man. I like his cowboy stories and Westerns.
Yep, I love Westerns. So I was saying earlier, Jim Rohn. Like any book by Jim Rohn, I've got it. And these are some of the best ones, but Leading an Inspired Life. Now, most of my books I don't like to go through and write in and leave lines. But Jim Rohn's books are those type where you go and you mark down the lines. You know, like he's one of my favorite motivational speakers. I got all his books. I keep this with me all the time because this is one of the best one to read. But Leading an Inspired Life by Jim Rohn. Motivational speaker. I love the way he speaks, the tone of voice, and the way he gets the message across. Really good book. Any of his books are. If you see any of his books on Amazon or anywhere at a yard sale or a book sale, I just buy them. Because I just give them to my buddies or something. Hey, dude, this is a really good book.
Oh yeah. We show the cover that so people they want to check it out, they can know what they're looking for.
My grandfather wrote a book called The Flight of the Wild Goose. It was never printed out in the public, but he must have made like 100 copies. And And he just gave everyone one. And I think I've got 2. But so I have one. I only have 2 copies, but that's my grandfather and that's my grandmother.
Oh yeah, man, that's a nice looking couple.
Yep, he flew 13 missions over Germany as a navigator. So he's the one that would drop bombs on targets.
Oh, that's really cool.
And then he goes, I always felt bad. I'm just, I'm hoping I'm not hitting civilians. I'm hoping I'm not hitting anybody. I hope I'm hitting the enemy. We can stop the war. And then after World War II, the Army Air Force goes, we need pilots. we're going to be fighting in the Korean War. We need pilots. Anyone who wants to become a pilot, you can go to the school. And he goes, well, I was already a navigator and a bomber.
Yeah.
I'll apply. So he applied and he became a pilot. So he flew 50 missions over Korea.
As a bomber pilot?
As a bomber pilot.
Okay.
And he flew through 30 or 50 missions over Korea, bombing. He goes, I flew 1 day mission and the rest were all night. I go, oh, that's cool. So why only 1 day? He goes, I flew over 1 day and they shot at me so much and almost got killed. I was so scary. He goes, we just went right to just bombing them at nighttime.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like, you know what, they see us coming, we almost got, yeah.
So he goes, I just learned how to fly in the night, navigate, and he goes, we just bombed the living snot out of the North Koreans during Korean War flick. And I go, wow, that's pretty cool. But yeah, he wrote a book called The Fly the Wild Goose. It's pretty much just my own.
That is really cool, man.
But yeah, he wrote it's kind of like a when you read it at the beginning, it feels like a book. And then like right about in here somewhere, it's no longer a book. It's like a race to finish.
Trying to finish the book, you think?
Yeah, a race to finish. Here's some information. Go. And you're like, what the heck's going on? Because then, not too shortly after that, he died.
Oh, okay.
But you could tell it was kind of like he was racing, he's racing for something. He's racing to get it done. It's a really good book, you know. He grew up through the Depression and shooting squirrels out of trees and having a squirrel soup for dinner.
Yeah,
there's nothing else to eat. You're like, wow.
Yeah, that sounds a lot like kind of like my family. A lot of people back from West Virginia and all those kind of country states, you know. Yeah, that is really cool. I like that.
Yeah, Fly the Wild Goose. And I was going to mention some of my good friends are in a magazine called Skill Set. Mm-hmm. Skill Set magazine. It's a really, really good magazine. I've appeared in there, you know, only in pictures, promising to write them an article, which is coming up. But it's a really good book, magazine. It, you know, basically goes into, you know, if you're a gun advocate.
Oh,
like
okay.
guns
Now,
and
what
stuff
was
like
that right there? Look like Shrunken Heads or something?
Yeah. So they're talking about, you know, when people headhunters.
That's really cool. That's interesting.
Yeah. I'll let you borrow if you'd like to read it.
Yeah, I don't know. Shrunken Heads have always been cool. I read that Goosebumps book when I was like, if you don't mind, I'd actually like to read
so,
this.
It's just kind of just a dude book, you know, like guns and stories about, you know, brass knuckles and stuff. And so they're really good friends of mine, and so I appear here.
That's cool. If you don't mind, I'm a writer. Any chance you think I could reach out to him, see if I could do articles or? I'll write, dude. I do comedy. I could sit in some.
Oh yeah,
I write about that's a horror novella, but like that'll be your copy. I'll autograph it.
Oh, thank you.
Since you like to read and everything, I'm like, you know what? That'd be rude for me just to bring it out here. I'm gonna use it to talk about, obviously.
I love it. That's awesome.
So, but yeah, no, again,
Skill Set magazine.
Hell yeah, I'll have to check them out. I definitely would like to reach out to them.
It's got a large array of just kind of like novelty stuff and just really cool stories.
Oh yeah, they got everything that I'm into, man. You got Godzilla and stuff.
Yeah, my favorite, Godzilla.
Yeah, thank you for bringing it, man. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna reach out to him to see, because this is 100% up my alley. Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to, because this is all kind of my stuff. I didn't run. I like to exercise and everything.
Tactical games.
Like with me, like I'll do cardio, but I hate running. I'll do. My cardio is I shoot basketball, I swing the kettlebell, and burpees. Running, I get bored doing. If I want to run, it's just going to be a mile, maybe less. As soon as I get mentally.
Long distance stuff.
Well, it's because. But if I'm doing, my point is, but if I'm doing like a Spartan race or something like that, where it's like an obstacle course, I that's more my kind of cardio. You know what I mean? Because let me run. Because if I'm running just straight, like I get like bored. I'm like, man, I'm just running around the block. Yeah, I'm doing like this and being healthy, but like I'm not enjoying it, you know what I mean? But if I'm running, doing a race or something, it's like I'm having fun, you know. If I'm competitive. If I'm running, if I have to climb, but I think it also because it changes up a little bit. You're not just running, you get to do that. You're still using strength, but
how boring just running. When I used to box, you have to do a lot of running. It was boring.
Yeah, no, I get that. And I get like I'd run. Yeah, when I was boxing, I was running all the time. When I get off work, I go to the boxing gym. I do this like 4 or 5 times a week. I go to the boxing gym, do probably like 2 hours there, you know, which is like cardio stuff. You know, you're hitting the bag, doing this, sparring a little bit, hitting gloves. And then right after that because the gym there didn't have any kind of weights or anything. But the company I worked with, WBOY, was NBC ABC. So that one of the salespeople had the YMCA as a thing. So I didn't have to pay for the YMCA. Is what I'm getting at. And so I leave the boxing gym and go do like an hour to an hour and a half, depending on what I'm working on. If I was doing deadlifts or squats, I'm going to be there probably anywhere to like an hour 20 to an hour and a half, you know. But bench presses and everything else, it'd probably only be there like an hour, maybe 45 minutes at the longest. But again, I was going from the boxing thing to doing that for like a good like year there.
Oh, that's good. That's good for you. And that makes it fun.
Right. But no, like, but again, like when I did all that, I would run. I would run during that too. But usually, my favorite thing to do is just like I'm gonna do my cardio after I do the deadlifting and the squats. Because when I'm doing that, you get such a high heart rate anyway,
right,
with heavy weight that it's like, I mean, I add the cardio as the finisher for it, and then that'd be good. But yeah, like what I'm just getting to is like I do a little bit of running when I was doing the boxing and stuff, but I'd still prefer that as my cardio, the kettlebells and the burpees and stuff like that.
Good stuff, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this was my bookmark.
Okay.
So Zach. Last time I saw Zach, he signed a record album for me. Fairies Wear Boots and Solitude by Zach Sabbath.
Oh, hell yeah!
Isn't that cool?
That is really cool. Man, hold that up there so the audience can see that. Because Zach was in. See, I think I saw something. You may have posted about that.
It was probably me.
Because I saw something posted. But I didn't even think about. I should have known it was probably Zach Wild, but I heard Zach Sabbath. It's probably a Zach Wild cover band.
Nope.
That's what I thought was coming to town. I thought a cover band was coming to town. If I knew it was Zach Wild, I would have gone there that night.
Zach Wild, man. Yeah, he does a great version of Sabbath tunes on his own.
Oh yeah, he was with Ozzy, man. He's got like that Sabbath, that Tony Iommi.
I mean, what a talented guy too. I mean, piano, vocals, guitar. I mean,
oh yeah.
You know. So it's good. That was my bookmark. But this is my book, Elite Black Belts Who Cook. Okay. So the interesting thing about this book is I could have paid to be on the cover, but right now I don't have a lot of money. So I'm like, I don't have the money to be on the cover. But he goes, Matt, we'll get you inside with a recipe. You know, what do you mean? He goes, well, it's going to be a compilation book with other martial artists. You probably know some of them. I go, no, I know most of them. It's Elite Black Belts Who Cook. So it's just a basic book of just a bunch of people who put their recipes into this book, who all have to be martial artists.
Man, that's really sick.
And I mean, I'm telling you, from start to finish.
That looks like good recipes they got in there too, man. Come on now. Healthy too? Jesus.
I mean, that looks really good. I mean, Kung Fu Fighter Suit, that looks really good. I'm like, every one of these recipes, they all look good. Cindy's famous mac and cheese. I mean, I'm like, what? This is, you know.
This is Cindy Hornsby?
Yep, Cynthia Hornsby. I'm like, Professor Gary Lee, I think I've met him before. Hawaiian corn salad. I mean, all of them, like, it all looks really good. I'm going to go broke just trying to write all the recipes, right? Well, if I go in here, page 53, getting close, there's me.
Well, tight. I was going to say, hold that up.
There's me. But there's the front cover. This is actually available on Amazon, and you can get it on Amazon. And then there's me on page 53. But it goes into a little bit of history about myself, and then it goes into my triple threat spaghetti. And so the big thing is, I got friends that go, "Well, I'm a vegetarian. I'm not gonna eat that stuff." And I go, "Just cut the meat out." You're not gonna. The recipe's really good, but it's dedicated to Larry Hardsell, Guru Dan Inosanto, and Willie Lariano, one of my student instructors. He actually teaches in Los Angeles area.
Okay.
Inosanto is still alive. Willie is still alive. Hardsell passed away. But it's my triple threat spaghetti. Ground beef, lamb, and mild Italian sausage are part of the recipe. But it goes into details, gives the whole recipe and everything. It's a really cool book. And it just goes in right after my recipe to everyone else's. I mean,
man, I was gonna say like that. Just those 2 pages right there. I feel like I'd have to try it because yours was the spaghetti, and then right after it was like Valerie's pizza. It's like, man, that's like an Italian weekend right there. I'd be good to go. I'd fix spaghetti one night and pizza the other for sure.
I'm telling you, this whole cookbook, I'm like, this is really cool. So I gave this to Gary Newman the other day.
Okay, tight.
He's got a copy. Of course, Zach's got a copy. I gave Zach a copy.
Hell yeah.
He's got a copy. And then I'll have to get you one.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man, because I'm for sure
yeah.
going to be cooking out of that thing. I'll send you a picture every.
In fact, this one probably could be yours because I'm thinking I thought I had signed it earlier with that, so it's not signed up. This could probably be yours, but that's Elite Black Pencil Cook. It's available on Amazon.
Hell yeah!
And then I have another book coming out in March about leadership.
Okay.
I'll be on the front cover and the back cover, and then that one's going to be all. Well, they want me to just wait until we do the not a podcast, but a Zoom meeting. They want to wait until we're all together to give it a big final push because I'm like, it's going to show up on Saturday, but I'm like, I want to show it now.
Right.
I don't know. You got to hold out.
If you don't mind me asking, I know you said it's about leadership, but you probably talk about martial arts in there too.
Yeah, it's all a bunch of martial artists that have written about 2,000 word article.
Okay.
There's like 25, 26 articles in there. And then it's all a bunch of martial artists talking about leadership and stuff like that within the martial arts.
Oh, that's sick, man. Yeah, I'd be interested in that book too.
But this one's the cookbook, which, by the way, I've always wanted to be in a book. I'm in a couple books, right? But I want to be in a book. So I'm a published author because of my recipe.
Hell yeah.
So all right. So I'll give that to you, actually. That's for you.
I appreciate that, man.
I thought I had it signed or something.
No, you'll have to sign it, though, for sure,
Glad
whenever,
to.
before you leave, man, for sure. But no, that's awesome, dude. Thank you. I'm going to be cooking out of this for sure. Like, people, all my comedian friends, everyone will be seeing
They're like, man,
recipes.
your recipe's really expensive. I go, well, then, if it's, you can't do the recipe completely like.
I was going to say, just don't go to Rayleigh's, you can,
exactly.
you can find somewhere to make it work. But no,
There's some expensive, like lamb and the ground beef and all that stuff. That's pretty expensive. I go, well, but you can, if you just, smart shopper, you can find all that stuff. Real good deal.
Yeah. No, I don't go crazy. Yeah, I'm not going to get into anyone else's like shopping thing or whatever. But I'm like, I'll make it work. I can figure out.
You'll make it work. People are like, well, I'm vegetarian. Well, they don't eat the meat.
Yeah, it's simple.
Put something else in it.
Yeah, but if you want the protein, the best, get beans. The highest protein bean is lentils. Get lentils.
Something else.
And you'll be good to go with that.
But yeah, so books. I mean, I'm an avid book reader. I try to read 4 books a month. And I just try to read motivational, positive, military, or something to do with, learning, leadership, strategies, anything that just motivational to pick up. There's a couple of the books I could have brought, but I just thought I didn't want to put too much out there. But there's some other books that's just out there, inspirational, motivational. I like to read. I try to read at least 4 a month. I'm lagging. I probably got 2 done last month, which is
February.
February.
Doing better than me. So I guess when I'm done here, I'll
but now,
probably...
this is me now. I start reading a book, and then I start reading, and I'm all fall asleep now. I read till I fall asleep.
I'm like that too. So especially if it's late, man, I'll conk out. I'll get through. I'm like, okay, now I'm done. Yeah. But hell yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So everyone here in this is an elite black belt. Now you got your black belt in Jeet Kune Do, right?
So I actually got my black belt in a martial art called French kickboxing called Savate.
Oh, okay, Jean-Claude Van Damme. Let's hear about this.
Yeah. So one of my instructors, he taught French kickboxing and cane. So I trained with him for about 7 years, and in the 9th year he gave me my black belt. And the reason I trained with him for 7, that was because I did grade school all through high school, and then I left for a couple years, and I came back, and when I came back after a couple years, he gave me my black belt. But I got my black belt in French kickboxing. He called it rough and tumble savate. Because he was kind of like the old-fashioned, like, you get in a bar fight, here's how you cover up, and here's how you, like a Boss Rutan. If you ever seen Boss Rutan, here's how you take a guy in the bar. Boom, you kick him, you knee him, and then you smash his head against the bar
I haven't
table.
seen that one yet, but okay, I'm glad you said that, because that was just one of the things I was asking, like some of your things, if you incorporate the environment into...
No, not in that, because...
Okay.
Because my goal when I'm doing it is protect myself.
Yeah.
And say you're in the middle of it, I'm going to try to protect you, and then of course the person who's actually causing all the trouble, I've got to do my best to stop that person. It could be a man or woman, right? So I'm basically taking care of 3 things. And I was like, what do you mean? I forgot to show one of the books too. It's one of my friends wrote, Jack Hogan wrote a book called The Ethical Warrior.
Okay.
I couldn't find it. I had it stashed somewhere in the house and I couldn't find it. I couldn't bring it. But he's basically, when you're doing this kind of stuff, you want to think about three things: protecting yourself, protecting the innocent bystander, and protecting the person who's being violent. So there's a lot of things going on because people go, "Oh, I'm just going to go bang bang and start punching people," right? Well, then I just turn myself into that drunk person, and I'm causing violence. I want to diffuse it. I want to stop it. So I got to protect myself. I got to protect you, and I can protect him. And then often people go, "What do you mean protect him? Because he's the one trying to hurt this guy."
Yeah.
Well, I want to stop him from harming himself because he's not himself. If he's drunk, he's not himself.
Gotcha.
Tomorrow you're gonna wake up, he's gonna realize he wasn't himself. Hopefully he's apologetic and humble and he never does it again. So my goal is to protect him, protect you, and protect myself. What do you mean protect you? I don't want to get hit. I don't want to get hurt. I don't want you getting hurt and hit, but I don't want him hurting himself either. Well, he's an idiot. He's causing trouble. Yeah, but if he really was himself, he knew he wouldn't be. Then I gotta stop. I gotta protect him. You gotta protect him. So when I throw somebody down, I don't just go throw them down on the concrete and make their head hit the floor. I'm just smother, tie up, keep him till the police come or whatever. Just try to keep him so he's not harming anybody. Well, you can punch him. No, I'm not hired to punch people.
It's not necessary
Right?
once you've got someone.
I'm not gonna go grab him and then throw him against the bar room, wall or hit the corner on the table. Bang! What are you doing that for? That's a lawsuit.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do the best I can to protect him from hurting you. You're okay. Make sure you're okay. Make sure I don't get hurt. A lot of things going on. And then you gotta be careful about somebody trying to, a buddy, hey, what are you doing holding my buddy down like that?
Yeah.
I gotta worry about so many things. They're like, well, you're not protecting him. You're hurting him. No, I just got him all wrapped up. He's not hurting anybody now.
Yeah, he's just subdued.
Well, how'd you do that? My jiu-jitsu taught me how to wrap him up and, keep him from pulling his knife from his arm or having a friend kick me from behind. You work about all these crazy things. So that's what everyone gets the misconception about. Like, oh, man, the new Roadhouse coming out, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to pick guys up and hit him with a glass bottle across his face. No. It's a lawsuit. That's not good.
Right, I was gonna say that I like the original Roadhouse, even though it's pretty cheesy and everything. It's got its moments, but I'm like, even then, that's a fun movie from the '80s for sure.
Oh yeah,
it's
so funny. You look back at those movies.
Even the end of the movie, it ends almost like with a comical thing.
Yeah,
you forget the one dude. This ain't even a spoiler, but one of the dudes that's a bad guy lives and everyone kind of forgives him after a minute.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Well, you remember that, the fat dude at the end, But it's just funny with that. But I saw the trailer with. I'm like, first of all, man, you gotta have Jake Gyllenhaal be the bad guy and Conor McGregor be the good because everyone watching this knows if McGregor loses to Gyllenhaal, be like he would never lose to Gyllenhaal. You know what I mean? Conor McGregor would kick him once in the face and he would just be like. But I mean, movies or whatever.
Yeah, movies make it so.
Not dissing Gyllenhaal because I like him, but it's how you gonna do a movie like that? You gotta bring Connor in where he's the lead of the movie. You can't bring him into Hollywood as the bad dude that's gonna get beat up.
Yeah.
And everyone in the eye, the best thing they can do is Gyllenhaal beats him up a little bit, and then he's like, "You done?" He's like, "I didn't." You know what I mean? And they become friends or something. Yeah. That would be cheesy, but whatever. You're doing Roadhouse too. You're not making Shakespearean movies here. The writing. Right. This writing is not Macbeth. So. Oh God. I don't know. Are you doing good on time here and everything?
Oh, yeah,
I'll keep going as long as you're good here.
Oh yeah, we're good.
All right, cool. Talking about movies and everything, and whenever you watch martial arts, so Joe Rogan's really into martial arts and knows a good bit. I love action movies and all. One of my coworkers, he says he hates John Wick, and he's mad at Joe Rogan for liking it because he's like, none of that's real. And I have only seen the first one, and it's none of it's real. But when I hear Rogan kind of talk about it, it's how I'm kind of want to get your thought on that.
Well,
the first.
Don't get me wrong, I love John Wick. I love those movies because it's all about the martial arts, the gun handling. They're just expert. But there's also that level of, John Wick has a bulletproof vest on, and you're like, it's paper thin. He gets cut, gets damaged, gets hurt, gets thrown really bad, and he's wakes up next morning. You're like, that's so the movies. Because, you get kicked or punched in the stomach one time and your head hits the concrete, pretty much game over. But John Wick takes a licking and it keeps on coming, right? But I like what it's pushed out, people become more I'm more of a gun advocate now. I'm into guns, or I'm into the martial arts and the fighting and the training. And they're like, oh, that's cool. That aspect I like it. But then you got the other guys who just like, okay, all that stuff's pretty unreal, you know. Someone shoots at you with a gun that close, you're gonna go down and you ain't get back up.
Right.
Right. And then then it's like the old movies where the good guy just goes and mows everyone over. You're like, okay, really? All right. So the John Wicks, I loved them. I think the last one I did not like.
I've only seen the first one. I really love the first one.
Me too.
I want to see the second and the third one because to me, I'm like, I love fight choreography in movies.
Me too.
Man. I love watching fights in movies, and also there's like someone who's done like some like fight, not training anyone to fight choreography, but like being like trained and like fighting. It's so much fun. Doing it, like I said, it's really fun to watch. But when I see it and they're actually incorporating like jujitsu in there, I'm like, I'm glad they're actually doing something where it's like, okay, someone's actually moving with martial arts. Maybe obviously like someone probably would have shot him in the head one time there out of all those like 80 people that he's beating up. But I like that it's not so overdone. It's like you can almost believe the plausibility of the fights and whatever.
So the shooting, he comes out all banged up or unscathed. You laugh and you go, okay, whatever. But that's the movie. He's that tough. Nobody's that tough. But that's fun because I like the message. Like Steven Seagal. Not everyone's a huge Steven Seagal fan, but I love Above the Law. Have you ever seen Above the Law? That's his very first one.
What's his name who runs all the time in it? The keto dude. What's his name again? Seagal.
Yeah, Steven Seagal.
Steven Seagal. Yeah.
So I mean, that Above the Law, the very first one, I loved it because it was just like. I mean, it was well-made movie, like rough and tough, and it was made like. But then after that, I think they all started kind of going downhill.
All the other Steven Seagal.
You just go whatever, right? But kind of the same thing with John Wick. Really like the early one. The later gets a little too far-fetched.
Yeah, they go Marvel movie almost or something.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, I mean, it's all unrealistic, but you understand it, the movies. But then it just gets too far-fetched, like all the With the car one, they made 6 of them now.
Oh, the Fast and the Furious.
Fast and Furious. I mean,
the first one is really good. When I was watching that not too long ago, I'm like, this is actually kind of it's almost a noir movie. You have a classic criminal story here that's really good. Like with the cop, but the cop he actually likes the people that he became, he was working against. And so, it's a really good story.
Then you got the last one. You got cars falling out of airplanes with parachutes, landing perfectly on a road, no problems at all. And then the parachute detaches and they drag off. Like, in real life, that car hits the ground, it ain't getting. Ain't going 2 feet.
That's gonna bend the frame, the axle.
It's like watching Dukes of Hazzard, right? I was a Dukes of Hazzard kid. Every Friday, same old thing. Chasing them, doing jumps. Cars look perfectly, Hit every time those cars hit those jumps, they push it to the side and bring a new model in. There's no way that car could have took that jump.
I gotta watch those old movies now because I love them for that, like the Blues Brothers.
Oh.
I loved it whenever they were doing the Blues Brothers. I think are the first ones to really do the car crash thing.
Yep, I would say that's the longest car crash scene, ever in movies so far.
Yeah,
love the Blues Brothers. That's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, no, I love those from the 80s and 70s. Because I was thinking about that because I was like, there's a few other movies where Bullet's good, where you have the car chases.
Yeah.
And that. But I'm like, I was trying to think like a car movie where there's a bunch of cars. I'm like, what? The only one I could think of was like the Blues Brothers. It's a comedy with a great car chase in it.
Have you ever watched Drive? You ever seen Drive?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Now that
was pretty good.
Really a short couple scenes, but they weren't really long.
I'll have to watch that movie again because I did like Drive. It was a good one.
And there's a couple drive scenes, like fast car scenes, but they're really short, not as long.
Yeah, no, that was fun where he was a stunt man, but he would also do that criminal stuff at night, rob banks or whatever. I'm like, okay, that's a cool movie. I like movies of that kind of style.
That's one of my favorites. I love that.
Yeah, I gotta watch that one again. When you were talking about the westerns and stuff, you probably are a big fan of Hell or High Water, right?
Yeah, I like those.
Yeah, I like that. Out of the new western, I love that one. I like seeing that one when it was in theater, the dudes going across Texas, robbing the bank. So you got the law on the side, but it's you don't really know who to root for.
Right.
And I like movies like that. That's a good kind of western.
Quentin Tarantino, he's been writing a bunch of stuff like that. I like some of his stuff.
Oh yeah, Tarantino's great.
But yeah, I'm like the old John Wayne and Kirk Douglas. I like all those, and I like watching and Bonanza. I mean, I watch all that stuff all the time. I like the old stuff. Sometimes the acting is really hard to watch.
Yeah, sometimes. Back in those old days, they didn't have that. It was like, oh well, we'll get this guy.
But I like watching the way they dress and where they're wearing all their stuff and how they wear it. I think that's pretty cool. But some stuff I like watching all that Western stuff. I like it all.
Yeah, my grandfather would watch some of those shows with him when I was younger. A little bit. I like him a little, but me with the Westerns, I've always liked John Wayne when I was younger. When I got older, I was really into, I like John Wayne, but I really got into Clint Eastwood a lot more when I got older. But then because my favorite Western is probably The Outlaw Josie Wales. I love that movie, man. That's the best.
Yep, Clint Eastwood. I love his stuff. All his stuff. I liked it all.
Yeah, even his newer stuff he's making in his older age and everything, he's still doing.
Yeah,
Gran Torino is a great movie as well.
Yep.
I know we were talking this is going back almost to John Wick, but to the martial arts because we were talking about the fighting and everything. I always loved the old school Jackie Chan movies too. Yes. You probably had Bruce Lee. Jackie Chan was more my generation in the 90s.
I was so Bruce, but Jackie Chan. I love all of Jackie Chan's stuff. I used to at home.
Doing his own stunts. That was always so
videos.
Yeah, even his Jackie Chan's First Strike is one of his early movies. Rumble in the Bronx, those are all good.
Yeah.
Those are great movies. Rush Hour.
Because he was really doing this. He was doing the stunts, but he was getting hurt.
Right.
But he was doing the stunts, and that's
that one where he fell down the elevator or whatever, something. He was just great.
Yeah, just a couple he bounces down, bing, 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 and he breaks his ankle at the very bottom. You're like, oh.
Oh yeah.
But tough guy, and then you always talk too. Cause I like Jackie Chan. They always say, how good of a fighter? And he's like, I'm not a fighter. I'm a stunt guy. Does fight scenes. I'm not really that good of a fighter. I'm just more I could probably play with you and stuff, but I'm not really good at a fighter. So it's just kind of cool to see him go. Admit to
Yeah, he knows what his strengths are.
I'm not a good fighter. I'm just a good choreographer and stunt guy, and I do all the fight scenes. I'm just not really a good fighter. And you're like, that's cool because some guys are like, oh yeah, I'm a great fighter. And
I have a feeling that if Jackie Chan was in a bar and 8 people were coming after him, he would be able to beat the hell. I really because whenever I'm okay,
being humble.
Right? Oh yeah, for sure, being humble. That's one thing I like about Jackie Chan too. But I'm hang on, bro. I saw you in a movie. You jump through. There's a ladder, and you jump through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You jump between the spaces of not just the one thing, but you come out the other end. Then you grab the ladder and you start whipping people with that.
Did you see how many times it took him to do that though?
Oh yeah, that's the best thing too.
And
he gets hurt so many times doing a lot.
He's tried it a couple times, didn't make it. Oh.
Yeah. He'll hit him. So he's like, oh. He'll rub his nose or do whatever.
But that's tough. And he's not a wimp.
Right? I'm so glad they always show that. But with that too, I think one of the other, probably the better movie that shows real fighting and everything is probably if you watch the first Indiana Jones.
Oh yeah.
Just him get beat up, and then that scene after he's finally done, he's just tired as hell, and he could Karen Allen's kissing on him, and he's getting hurt just from that. I'm that right there probably has the most realistic to a
Very
fight.
true.
At the end of the day, it's marrying.
I love all the Indiana Jones stuff.
Oh hell yeah, those are the best.
There's some. I think which one was it? The Crystal Skull. There was some capoeira in there. Some African, those guys that attacked him in this graveyard.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
That was some stuff. That was. There was some martial arts in there.
All right, cool. It's been I don't hate the Crystal Skull, but it's not obviously it's not as good as but it's still fun. I have fun watching that one. I haven't seen the newer one though that came out. I really wanted to.
The new one's not that bad. The very first one. Mm-hmm. The very first one and the one where he played him with Sean Connery.
Oh yeah, those are the two.
Those are the two. Are just
I think those are some of the great. Those two movies right there are the greatest cinematic. But I love Temple of Doom. Short Round was a fun character.
Yeah, Temple of Doom was actually pretty cool too. So those three were probably that's it. And then after that, to me, everything just kind of started falling apart.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's so many years in between. It's you kind of know what you're gonna go, but they could have just written it probably a little bit better. Just that scene where they had. It lost me. This is where it really lost me. That scene where Shia LaBeouf starts swinging with the monkeys to catch up with him.
Yeah.
I'm like, this kid ain't gonna know how to do this. It was Steven Spielberg.
Maybe in his blood, but not that whole train. Come on.
I wonder how much of a big of an argument there was between George Lucas and Steven Spielberg, because it's funny because Lucas is very more fantastical with his ideas. Spielberg kind of has some of that too, but when I was listening to interviews of it, Spielberg was like, no, George, I think we should be a little bit more tuned down. I don't with the aliens coming in. This isn't really the thing,
Well, it's like Star Wars. remember how they had all the puppets and stuff? And then,
Yeah.
and then a couple of those, they just went to the animation, like AI and all.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, that's a cartoon Yoda. Why didn't you just stick with the old puppet?
Yeah,
one?
yeah. Because the puppet was always cool.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed more, even though you knew it was like a puppet,
Mhm.
it seemed more real than the one that they did animated. It's like, why would you do that? But
Like,
I don't understand, but.
It's like they almost have to do, because Jurassic Park, you know, that's like 30 some years old.
Yeah.
Now. And it had like if you watch the CGI in that's some of the best CGI. It stands up better than CGI today. But I was watching, but how they got it done is like they would use clay animation and then like superimpose CGI over top of it, so you kind of had this work to where it had a more realistic like blend. And but yeah, because I can watch those, the first 2 Jurassic Parks, yeah, like same as Indiana Jones, I can watch those and like always a fun
Me
ride.
too.
Always a fun ride.
Yep. I can always watch those first 3 Indiana Jones, no problem.
Oh yeah. And again, I know we did talk a little bit about, you know, working with some actors and stuff like that. Did you ever think about, since you knew a background in martial art, going in like doing more with like acting or anything like that?
You know, I think I had some ambition like that earlier in my life, but older I got, I'm kind of like, nah, I probably wouldn't, I don't know if I do well memorizing scripts. maybe some action fight scenes or something. I've always wanted to appear in a Star Wars movie, you know, like, or some famous movie, and be just kind of in it for a couple scenes, a couple lines, and then call it good.
Right. Sometimes that's the best. Like obviously I want to get like paid on like some, but like starting out being an extra or whatever. But I always like those actors too. Sometimes they're like well known or known whatever, and they just show up for like 5 minutes and then they're gone.
Yeah.
But they make it, and it's not them showing up like Tom Hanks and Billy Bob Thornton show up in 1883. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Small little kid, no more after that. But it's cool seeing them there. But it's like, you know what? They know how to act. They know how to bring you in as an audience, and it's like they're not even, you're seeing the character more, you never see the actor there. But I love it when they just show up for a little bit, the character is great, and then if you're lucky enough to be that person acting, doing that character, it's like, okay, you made a bunch of money, or however much money, it's more than, you know, working at McDonald's or whatever.
Right.
But it's like, you're just there for a little bit, and like, all right, cool. And he was probably on set like a good, you know, 8 hours or something like that, or maybe even less than that. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I thought about it, but I just kind of, maybe a fight choreography or something, just sticking to the martial arts would be kind of good. I don't think I had a movie career in the mix. Maybe, but probably not.
Nah, I mean, you never know. Like Danny Trejo was one. He was probably a little bit younger, but they asked him, was like, "Hey, can you care to show this one guy? 'Cause he just happened to be on set to help somebody out." And he was like, "Hey, you care to show someone how to box or whatever?" And then from there, he kind of just got in, and then the career took off.
The rest is history.
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. Getting the money.
Now, I don't know, if you did that, would you probably still keep your hand in martial arts and like maybe just be more of a fight choreographer?
Oh yeah, if I ever did that, it would probably be like, that's what I would. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love to make a martial arts movie.
Oh, okay.
You know, that'd be cool. You know, a little bit. I got some friends that do the martial arts stuff. Bird Richardson, he appeared in a couple martial arts movies. That would be cool. That would be really fun to do the martial arts. But I don't know if there's a big thing for it right now. Well, there might be. Might be a big thing for it.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Like again, I don't. Other than the shoot that I said I'm going to be on tomorrow, I know they're going to be doing a little thing. If I'll drop your name and say, hey, I don't know if you need anyone else, but this guy actually knows.
Drop my name.
You see, but not, like I said, it's an independent thing, so it's nothing like overly big,
Right.
like money wise. Be like, but who knows? Some small things are still pretty big. You know what I mean?
You never
As long as
know.
you
Never
do it
know the
well.
connection.
But yeah, for sure. I don't know. I feel like we're probably going to be getting close to the end, but
no problem.
Acting and everything. So in your future, do you just kind of like see yourself doing more teaching martial arts still, writing art? Like, what do you kind of see?
Well, so like I was saying, get the books out there, and then I'm really gearing towards. One of my friends is a police chief in Texas.
Okay.
At Texas University, and it's called the cold case team. So he wants me to do is be a martial art instructor for people who have been you know, victimized or abused. He wants me to teach those people how to self-empowerment. So my goal is to sometime, what I'd like to do, I've done it already. I have taught martial arts at UC Davis.
Okay.
I taught at the University of Oregon. And I taught at the University of Washington, D.C. So the UC Davis, D.C. has, University of California, Davis has one college in D.C. And I've went there and I've opened up the a self-defense program for each one of the universities.
Okay.
So that way they a model, and then the people who are part of it can just start their own self-defense classes, and then I gave them the model and they can teach on their own.
Yeah, they
I
can
kind
grow
of like
up.
to do that.
Oh, that's really cool.
Go to other universities and just go, hey man, I got a whole week long course. Everyone can come attend. You know, different.
No, that's a really great idea. If I were you, I would. Yeah, for sure, I'd do that, man. Like,
and then get the people in there, do some martial arts skills, empower them, and then the staff go, here you go. Here's your curriculum. You assign people to do what you want. If you want me back once in a while, have me come back and refresh you.
yeah.
And then you guys are on your own. Here's your program. You guys set up your people and go teach martial arts. Or hey, can you teach us how to do that? Hold the pads better, or what should we do with the guys, or what can we do to give them empowerment? You know, empower them not just the martial arts ways. What can we do? You know, here's what you can do. And I've done that at 3 universities. So my goal is to continue doing that.
Okay.
And teach martial arts to large groups, staff, work groups. I used to do the actor school program at UC Davis. And that's where, they're teaching people, someone comes in with a gun, what do you do? First one, run. Second one, hide. And then the third one, fight. It was the run, hide, fight curriculum, which has kind of changed. But you can still go off that, but not necessarily teach people how to shoot but just, hey man, if some situation comes up, I can run out of the situation, I can hide. Was the last resort, I need to learn how to fight. And then I learned how to defend myself. And I was like, well, what do you mean? What kind of fighting skills should I get? Well, nothing really outlandish, but I can teach you a few things to get you started.
Yeah.
But you'll probably have to go enroll in another school or something to get started. But I can come in once a year or every couple of years and with new material and go, hey man, here's what you guys have been working on. How you guys doing on this? How you doing on that? What do you need help with? Oh, we need more security cameras over here somewhere. Okay, cool. Maybe you should light that area with more lights. So when they're walking by there, the cameras hit, and cut the shrubs down so they're not so tall, and then, turn the lights on more brighter, and don't walk there so late at night. Those type of things, right? Because everyone's like, well, I want to learn how to fight. Well, not everyone wants to learn how to fight, but I can show you some skills.
Kind of like self-awareness, yeah.
Yeah, I can tell you some skills, and then come by once a year if you want, and pay me to come out and visit you, or come teach you, and then get your program going again, or that's what I kind of want to do.
Well, that'd be
And
tight.
then do it with the books,
Gotcha. Because, okay, now with that, I know we won't touch on, secretive, training or anything, but have you ever trained, cops? Anything like that?
Well, I've done a little bit of work with the UC Davis police.
Okay.
And then some of those, has been a lot of years since I've done that, but most of the police officers do their own program.
All right.
And they travel. So I haven't really worked with a lot of police officers, but I've worked with some military. And I've worked a lot of people here in town, and I do bodyguard work. So I teach people how to do bodyguard work, self-defense, bouncing work. I teach people how to defuse a situation instead of punching people. I teach people how to hold and grab someone, escort them out. Then I do bodyguard work, like I said. So teaching people how to. I've worked for Chris Webber before.
Okay.
So I used to work for the Radisson Hotel here in Sacramento. And I was assigned the head guy to do the protection. So when the celebrities would come, oh, I want some guys around me. So I'd stand around Chris Webber whenever he came. Spud Webb used to come out there. I've worked for so many people. Blondie. Deborah Harry. I've worked for her. I've worked for a ton of people, celebrities, and to be just stand next to them and
Yeah, you're like Kevin Costner.
Yeah. Just kind of stopping people. Yeah, just like Kevin Costner. Hey man, stop. That's what I was doing that for a long time.
That's really
And
sick,
then
man.
that's kind of where I want to go to,
Yeah.
teach people how to, protect somebody. Well, what do you mean protect somebody? How to stand in the way and throw somebody out of the way, keep them from touching somebody. What do you mean, punching? No, I'm not talking about punching. Handle.
Yeah,
like,
just getting into hand range.
like they'll lock up their arms and put them in wrist locks or something to contain them from hurting you, me, or anybody else, like we were talking about earlier. That's what I want to teach people how to do. And the bodyguard work is like, what do you mean? Like, stand there with a gun? No, sometimes you don't have, there's bodyguard work, they don't want guns. And you just want to be able to, so I used to be a bodyguard for Don Chagrin, the boxing promoter.
Okay.
I used to just go to all the shows and sit next to him. He was like, what are you doing there? I go, making sure nobody gets close to him and gets, you know, because there's mad promoters want to come and punch him and stuff, you know. So I'd be like, hey man, back off.
Yeah, you're not even worried about a crazy person, just someone that you know is like, man, you're friends, not right now.
Somebody gets drunk and they want to come over and like, Matt, I lost that fight. You're Don Chagrin. Yeah, they, you know, I'd have to stop people from. I got paid good, but it was so far and few between. It was just hard to keep going that way because it's like, you know, every 6 months they have a boxing match. What am I supposed to do between that?
Oh yeah.
I gotta have another job.
Right.
So I had to. It's like that was fun, but it was like, okay, maybe I could teach people how to do this and spread it that way, or get be in charge of teaching people how to do that. And you'll get paid to do it. I'll do it. Maybe a little extra money.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a really good career plan right there, man. I really like this.
So that's my big plan.
That's great. Okay.
You know, go to universities or large groups of people who want. Hey, I want to empower my staff on how to defend themselves better. Okay, cool. Well, first what you gotta do is get your heads out of the phone.
Gotcha.
And be aware of your surroundings.
And now, is it like, and it's not just the staff too, right? You expect like they could teach the students this as well, correct?
Well, yeah. So what I would want to do is like I did with the University of Oregon and
Okay.
DC, I gave a certain staff. Here's what you guys got to start teaching your guys.
Gotcha.
Okay, cool. And a lot of the people had prior martial arts experience. That's why I went out there and I go, hey, send all the people who want to learn more martial arts, who are already martial artists, let's get together. And then we get together for the whole week, and then I'm like, you are all in charge now. Call me or text me whenever you need information.
Yeah.
Oh, send me back out.
Okay.
I'll come back next year and teach you even more stuff, and then we can get you on the right track.
Gotcha.
Or what do I need to start studying to get these guys going? Here's what you need to do.
Right, because I wasn't sure, like, just with that, if you ever set like a thing up for the students where they could do it as an elective. All right, here's a 10-week.
That would have been. I think they're trying to do that right now at UC Davis. They're trying to do that there, I think.
Okay, yeah, because that would definitely be like along with that. That'd be something good too. Is like so the students are also getting learn.
Yeah, a 10-week course when you can come in.
Yeah, and then they get like a grade for it or something like that.
That would be cool.
Yeah, because at least they get a start. And then you're obviously not going to get the black belt, but at least hey, you have some knowledge. It's up to you now. Do you want to go take another course, like go into a real school? Yeah. I think that'd be something cool to do too.
That is an idea. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Another couple things we'll probably go, but like okay, so right now, do you watch UFC at all? Do you ever keep up with any of that?
I try to.
Okay. All I was going to ask is to see. Who do you think the best fighters are? Current, new one right now, not considering in the past, but who's currently...
I really don't pay attention to those type of fights because I'm more of a, like the traditionalist. Like I like watching a good boxing match.
Yeah.
But like the UFC stuff, I really just don't go to a lot of them because I'm just not into that type of... Now don't get me wrong, I teach that. I teach jiu-jitsu. I teach kicking, Muay Thai. I teach boxing. So I teach all three of those things. But to see it all the time, I just don't. Like in the cage, it's different.
Yeah, and I know I grew up like loving boxing. That was like my first favorite things. I would watch it like every now and then. Like we had HBO or whatever. Some like did, some of them not. But if we had it, I see it boxing. I always liked it because this would be 2004 to 2008. I was probably really watching it a good amount on there, and there was it always seems like it was like lightweights or welterweights I was seeing more than anything. And there was this one British dude that was really cool. And I always remember he had like these like odd like shorts. He had like fringe or something that hung off the sides of him. But he was a really good fighter, dude. It was cool. I always liked watching him box. Because that's what got me into wanting to do boxing. I eventually did like 10 years ago. So.
Very cool.
Hell yeah. Then like boxing I haven't even kept up with because I haven't really. Seems like UFC's kind of taken over the new thing to where I haven't. If I see a boxing match, I'll watch it, but I haven't really seen a whole.
Yeah, me either. I'm just so busy. I don't really. So like the UFC fight, I wouldn't probably have it in my house. Like I wouldn't pay-per-view. If someone called me and says come to my house, I would, but just haven't done the pay-per-view thing. I'm just too busy.
I hear you.
But those three things are being taught in the ring. and that's cool. But sometimes I'll see him once in a while.
Okay.
Just not just like a diehard. They gotta watch everyone.
Yeah.
I used to have. I still have. I think I have 13 on VHS. The very first 13 UFCs.
Oh, okay.
I think after 13 they cut it off and they went pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I've got all those old
that's
original
right.
ones.
Yeah, because I don't know. I remember there was a time when I started getting into it a little bit, and I was kind of like not really hesitant, but I was like not really entertained by it like I was boxing at first. Like, why are they on the ground wrestling like that?
Yeah.
You know, I've always been so used to watching them like do tags, and then finally I kind of like learned more about it. But yeah, it seemed like there was a time that was on Spike TV a lot. And then it went to pay-per-view. It'd either be on pay-per-view or on Spike TV. It was one or the other.
Yeah. And then there's people some people just love it.
Yeah, it's fun. I like to watch it on. I'm not gonna go spin pay-per-view, but I'll go to a bar and watch a good fight, or go to a friend's house or something. And because they're fun to watch, I like them. Especially again if it's a fighter I like, or like seen it a couple times. I'm like, oh, okay, that'll be good. So.
Yep, that's me too.
Yeah, sometimes I even like some of the female fights more than like the dudes fights. Sometimes those women go like more hardcore. Like Nunez is crazy. Who's the blonde chick I like? And then there's the Venezuelan. What's
There's
that?
so many I don't even know.
I can't remember, like, I know her. Venezuelan Vixen's her name on Instagram. That's all I know. But she's one of the like MMA chicks. She's really good.
Some are really good looking too. You're like,
Oh yeah, no, she's one of them. Yeah.
You go out there and get your face pounded in.
Right.
Good looking girl. Okay.
Right. It's like I'm still digging you. Like, why am I not hating on this punch that much?
Right. Yeah, some of those girls I wouldn't want to scrap with them. They're tough.
Oh hell yeah!
Like grappling.
Right? No, Amanda Nunes, like hell with that. Like I'm just like all I could see would be like shins to the face. Be like, all right, enough.
You get moving for me. Choke me out.
Right? Yeah, I would rather be choked out than like receive a bunch of like blows in the face. You know
get knocked out. Choke me out.
Oh man. Shoot. I guess I feel like we're coming to the end. Is there anything? Any other stories you have? Anything? Any kind of philosophy? Anything you want to leave everybody with here, real quick?
I don't know what else to say. Just hang in there and find a good martial arts school. Train hard. Read lots of books.
Gotcha. And then, like I think we did cover it, but you would say Jeet Kune Do you think would be the best one because it just incorporates so much.
I like Jeet Kune Do because it encompasses you pretty much cover a lot of stuff. And some people get in the mindset that you got to learn as many martial arts as you can. Mm-hmm. It's not that. It's Neil Peart said it best. Neil Peart was the drummer for Rush, right?
Correct.
I love Rush. So Rush, Blue Oyster Cult, Zakk Wylde, probably my all-time favorite, like top 3 bands, right? But Neil Peart was like the best drummer ever, right? And he asked him once, "Why are you the best drummer?" He goes, "Well, I really don't consider myself the best drummer. I consider myself always learning. I still consider myself a student." You're like, "Oh yeah, all right, okay, whatever." It's kind of like Guru Dan does the same thing. Mm-hmm. I'll see Guru Dan all the time. "How you doing?" "Oh, doing great. Still learning." Guru Dan, you're 80-something years old. You're beyond the learning. You're like super grandmaster. He goes, "Oh no, I'm always learning, Rocky. I'm always learning." I'm like, don't lie. He's like, "No, really, I'm always learning." He's true. He's really learning. But same with the musician. Always learning, always trying to grow. Always trying to learn, always trying to grow. But Neil Peart said it best. "I don't train with just like 2 or 3 guys and I'm good." He goes, "I've trained with as many drummers as I possibly can." And he goes, you should be if you want to become a good drummer, you train with as many drummers as you possibly can. Guru Dan would say, "Go and train with as many martial arts instructors as you can afford."
Right. That's a good way to put
Neil Peart goes, "Go and train with as many drummers as you can." He goes, "The more the better."
Right.
They're like, "Really?" He goes, "Not just 1 or 2. He goes, "Nope, the more the better. That's how I got so good." Whoa. So same with martial arts. But martial arts, you got to remember, you can't be good at every single one of them. Mm-hmm. So you kind of narrow it down to what's good for me. I'm a taller guy. I like to kick. Okay. Then that's my strength. Okay, cool. My strength is kicking. But what if someone gets past my kicking range and they dump me? They do a bayana and they dump both my legs and they drill their chest into my chest and I fall backwards, flat on my back on the concrete. What am I going to do? I don't know what to do because all I've been doing is train to kick. Well, you better start getting on the floor in some jiu-jitsu classes and start learning how to fight from your back. Well, I'm never going to fight from my back on the street. I'm going to kick him. Did you hear what I just said? The guy got past you. He grabbed your leg and he dumped you on the ground. What are you going to do? I would never get there. Yeah, it could happen.
Yeah.
oh, and then it happens to people and they're like, oh, I'm shocked. And then you gotta learn how to fight on your back. Oh yeah. Or the guy goes to kick me, I know how to block that kick or grab it so that he can't hurt me any further and I take him down. Oh, that comes from my Muay Thai. Oh, guy pulls a knife on me. What am I gonna do? I don't know. Boom. I swiped his hand and knocked it out of his hand and then he ran off. Okay, rude. Oh, pick up the knife. Oh, cool knife. Right? That got me through it. Thank goodness I didn't have to really fight him. Oh, now I know my jiu-jitsu. I know how to kick. I know how to punch. I know how to trap hands and get them into a different position. That's Jeet Kune Do. So Jeet Kune Do kind of gives you the availability to experiment with other stuff instead of just going, I'm just going to learn judo.
Gotcha.
Well, I learned judo. Cool. Another guy pulled a knife on me and stabbed me in the stomach. I had no idea what to do. Well, my Jeet Kune Do instructor showed me that I could grab his arm and throw him down and disarm him, or kick him really hard and knock him down and then run. That's what my Jeet Kune Do instructor taught me. Oh, cool. Or my Jeet Kune Do instructor taught me to fight. So Filipino martial arts, right? Mm-hmm. That's a 400-year battle-tested martial art by guys who fought in jungles, not from somebody who sat in a garage and hit a tire all day long. So okay, now go try this in combat. And then you lost really bad. What happened? I trained in the garage and hit a rubber tire all the time. Yeah. This guy actually walked the jungles with a bolo and chopped dudes up. Whoa, I'm training with that guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I had a better chance of surviving and learning from that guy than going to the garage. So you just learn like, oh, I gotta learn about environments. Oh, do I kick somebody high in the head on a gravel road? Nope. That's icy and slippery. Do I try and kick someone? Nope. I try to keep stable. Oh, someone knocked me on my back and I'm on my back. I know how to defend myself in the guard and I know how to get out. Oh, hey man, how'd you do that? My jiu-jitsu saved me. So basically, whatever art I learned, hopefully it saves me in the situation I'm put into.
Gotcha.
In the atmosphere or the environment. So Jeet Kune Do teaches you that. Oh, cool. I can go learn Muay Thai and jiu-jitsu at the same time. Why not? You know how to kick, take a kick, get tough, and then learn to be. Oh, get somebody on the ground and start to hurt me. I know what to do. I know how to get out of this. Oh, instead of going, like most women go, right, and freeze.
Yeah, it's like that.
And they lay on the ground and the guy takes advantage of them. Or
it's like that fright thing instead of the flight that hits.
Cover it up like this. People don't realize if you just cover it up like that,
you're done.
You're good to go. Like I'm protected, right?
Well, I was gonna say someone could hit you on the side. Or
yeah, well then that's the thing too. Is like, someone hit you on the side, but if someone hits you in the face and you know how to do this, you're like, oh, I didn't get this. My senses knocked out of me. I'm still not. I can still be able to fight my way out. Oh, cool. And this got me so I can get up and run away or move or maneuver. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm open here now, but I protect myself from being hit in the face so hard that I get knocked out. So Jeet Kune Do gives you that pathway. Like, hey man, I can go experiment with other arts, and not have to be just sold to one.
Yeah.
All I do is judo. My grandfather told me only do judo.
Right.
Jeet Kune Do. Oh, Jeet Kune Do, and I get to train with all these different great people.
Gotcha. That's cool. But all right, I think we'll go ahead and leave it on that, man. That's the best way I think to wrap it up.
There we go.
So hell yeah, Rocky. Nah, that's good, man.
Cool, man.
Appreciate it.
Thanks,
thank
man.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that down.
Heck yeah.
Again, check out the cookbook, and then I'll throw more about your other book whenever it finally comes to the public.
When it comes out, we'll promote that one for sure. Thank you.
Man. Hell yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Bye.